Happy hump day, everybody. This is Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper here at winnersandwiners.com.
I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together, we make up a little show we like to call Heading Back to the Window. That's where you like to be when you make a sports bet. You like to head back to the window to cash that ticket. I'll tell you where you don't want to go, Scott. It's Costco. Went to Costco last night. There was literally a line around the store for pumpkin pie. Hey, Michelle, what's going on, Michelle?
Well, it's Costco, so does that mean that in order to get one pumpkin pie, you had to buy 12?
No, they're gigantic. You never had a Costco pumpkin pie?
Well, I'm saying just based on the bulk size, wouldn't you have to buy like 40 of them because they don't sell them one at a time?
No, you just have to buy an extra big one, and they're like they're like $8, but they're gigantic. Michelle, we will not be doing a show tomorrow. We will not be doing a show Friday. We are doing our regular show today. And right after our regular show with no break, we're going to be doing our college show. Right after our college show with no break, we're going to be doing our NFL show. So that's
threefer.
Yeah, it's a threefer. It's a triple play Wednesday. Yeah. J-Rock says one pie is like 4 pies at Costco. Yes, that's exactly right. And the sad part is, number one, I don't need a pumpkin pie. We're good. We got other pie sources. But I went the day before. I went on Monday night. There's nobody there. There's regular people. But there are tons of pies. I saw like the whole pie table. Like, well, at least they're gonna have enough pies. And then yesterday, it's fucking pie mania. So anyway, it's good to be here. Enough about that. Scott, how'd your day go, sports betting wise, not pie wise?
Went pretty well. My play the day yesterday. Beat a line move, and I pushed. So it was basically a 3-hour time waster where you just got your money back. You watched a movie for free, basically. And when you have a 96-yard fullback dive for a touchdown, that usually is going to hurt an under, and it did. So Northern Illinois used the backup quarterback. They barely moved the ball. That's kind of what I expected. Western Michigan's offense did whatever it wanted. They had more success through the air than I thought they were going to, but I ended up pushing there. As for me personally, I had Westbrook triple-double at plus 300, and he ended up getting it there for me.
Good. Yeah, I fell for it, Scott. I fell for the okie doke. I really thought Northern Illinois was going to give an effort there. I thought they'd like to win one on senior night there in front of the home crowd. Nothing of the sort. And in a much more disappointing game, South Dakota State, who had been really good up until that point, ran up against a Washington team that had been underwhelming and just absolutely no-showed. The Jacks got run out. They had a couple run against them in the first half, and that was it.
Is South Dakota State the new Citadel?
No, Long Beach State is back though, baby. They went.
Well, I saw 99 points in the second half today. That game went over.
Yeah, they went 162 in that one. It went off. It closed about 149.5 or somewhere in that neighborhood. So, as the banner says, do remember to like and subscribe if you're catching us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook, all that stuff. Rate and review if you're picking up at a podcast form, and of course, don't forget to listen to our old buddy Chris King, as he does his show called Just Parlays every day at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the same platforms as we are. It's all part of the WWSBN, the Winners and Winners Sports Betting Network. Know it, live it, love it. He was good yesterday, Scott. He followed up hitting a 4-teamer and a 2-teamer with hitting all 3 NHL games yesterday, which is better than my kid did with his parlay, as I finally gave out one of his plays after a 2-week test run, and it went down in flames as the exact opposite result happened, as he had Edmonton and the over, and it ended up being under with whoever fucking hack team Edmonton was playing. Who were they playing?
We're going to talk about that in the rocking chair segment.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, so my kid, he's dead to me. No Thanksgiving for you. Fuck it, you're disinvited, which is tough because he's having us over to his place.
That's going to be tough to explain, but you should tell them after you have the meal.
Yes, absolutely. Try. I hope they got pie. I hope they're not counting on going to Costco for pie. That's all I can say. So it is good to be here. Happy Thanksgiving Day to everybody. Bronco Devil in the house. Lawrence Anthony's here. T-Train in the house. Did you say Westbrook triple-double?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
how
I took
about
that
that?
personally at plus 300. And even though the Lakers lost, he got there.
Yep, there you go. So, hey, let's talk about who else maybe didn't do so well yesterday, Scott. These are the people, you know who you are. You thought you had a winner, or right up until the time you didn't, and nothing you can do, man. You've got it stolen from you. You've snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. There is nothing you can do, baby, but pick up that cell phone and call the cops. All right, we're going to start with the game from the NBA, and this is a game where one of the commenters had the right side of this. This is the Clippers team total over 107.5. And if you had this score, if you had this total, you probably thought in the fourth quarter, you're fucked. You're not going to get there. But never underestimate PG-13. Paul George hits the game-tying three-pointer at the buzzer. It's 103-103, and you're going to overtime. You just need 5 points in 5 minutes. You're getting home. You have had the miracle. Now you just got to cash that ticket in overtime. Holy shit. The Clippers scored 1 point in overtime. 1 point. They started overtime with 103. They ended with 104. If you had over 107.5, so sorry. Call the cops.
And looking at college basketball, if you had Vermont minus 9.5 against Evansville, you led by 12 with 3 seconds left, which is never a concern because Evansville, we know, can't score 3 points arguably in an entire game because that's a terrible basketball team. But unfortunately, Vermont did them a favor by fouling on a 3-point attempt, went up 12 with 3 seconds left. You need one missed free throw. You didn't get any. Evansville made all 3. Vermont won by 9.
Brutal. Just absolutely brutal. We'll finish it up with Cincinnati as they took on the Huggies. Cincinnati plus 5.5. They trailed by 5 with 2 seconds left.
With the ball.
They have the ball. Thank you. They missed the shot. And of course, you're down 5 with 0.3 seconds left. Scott, what do you want to do?
You want to foul.
You want to foul. That's right, because you need that 6-point shot after they missed their free throws. They fouled Arkansas with 0.3 seconds left. You didn't think they were going to miss 2 free throws, did you? No, they did not. They missed one.
Missed the first one.
Missed the first one. Gave you a little false hope. There you go. Taking it back. Fuck you. Fuck you. You had Cincinnati plus 5.5. Sorry. Call the cops.
I actually watched a decent amount of that game because Gonzaga, I was watching early on. They opened up a big lead, and I just decided to switch games because you knew Gonzaga was going to win about 15 minutes into the game. Probably before that, maybe 10 minutes into the game. But the Cincinnati team's pretty good.
I'll tell you what. If I will roast myself for you being correct about the Northern Illinois play, but I will take a victory lap for being correct about the Gonzaga guards.
Yeah, Gonzaga's guards were really good. I apologize to them on Twitter. And
you apologize to the Gonzaga guards? Yep.
I apologize to the backcourt. I knew the big men were good, and Holmgren is a unicorn. That block followed by a behind-the-back dunk was a disgusting sequence, but
we're gonna need to burn the tape of that show where you and I said there's no fucking way this kid's gonna be as good as they think he is. He's too skinny, doesn't have enough meat, he's gonna get pushed around.
Well, he can still get pushed around. That remains to be seen. He's only like 4 games in, but he looks really, really good. So, yeah, well, I'll accept the loss on that one. But Gonzaga, what really impressed me about that team was the defense. Offensively, they're going to find a way.
Right.
Defensively, they've been really, really good. But anyway, to go back to my point, I switched gears I switched games talking about Cincinnati because Gonzaga was blowing him out. The game was over about 10 minutes in. So Cincinnati hung in there, was leading in the second half, very, very close. And then you fouled down 2 possessions with 0.3 seconds left on the clock. And if you had one in Cincinnati, you almost won the game outright. And instead, you can't even cover 5.5.
Brutal and ridiculous. All right. Well, there was some good news, and I'm surprised this game didn't make the list. The game that we just talked about, because it was not much of a contest there from early in the game, the UCLA Gonzaga game. But there were other ones that were even more one-sided. Let's find out who it was in today's edition of the Rockin' Chair.
So the first one was Western Michigan in football, -6.5 against Northern Illinois. Line opened up at around 3.5 or 4. Then Lombardi was ruled out, and it closed at around 6.5 or 7. Led by 21 points at the half. Northern Illinois' quarterback was not very good. I believe the Huskies had a -4 passing yards in the first half. And Western Michigan went from up 21 at the half to up 21 at the end of the game. They covered easily.
Not much of a doubt about it on that one. As far as the second play goes, that's going to be from the world of college basketball. If you had the Wisconsin Badgers plus 7.5 against Houston, fuck, good luck to you. This Houston team's good, baby. Wisconsin never trailed one bit. They were up by 20 at halftime. Houston had a little run there in the second half to cut it, but at the end of the day, Wisconsin wins by 2. You had 7.5, didn't need them. Badgers straight up, it's rocket chair.
And the last one, if you faded the Steehn machine and had the Dallas Stars money line against the Edmonton Oilers.
Fuck that kid. He's dead to me.
It was never in doubt. They led 2-0 after the first period, led 3-1 after the second period, and ended up winning the game 4-1.
So, this happened. This happened one time last year when he'd been on a really, really hot streak, and there was like no games that night. I gave out one of his hockey plays as a premium, and it just got hammered. It just got absolutely hammered on. Okay, well, there you go. UConn was down 21-10, then started rolling up 6 first half. Very good.
Well, Wendell Green hit a couple of those long threes. UConn took a timeout, and ever since that point, UConn's been rolling.
Yep, that's a good team.
They are.
That's a good UConn team indeed. We've only got one puff piece today, Scott, and it's one that we need to talk about because this is a team that has fallen mightily from the ranks, and let's find out who it is in the odds makers. Holy shit, something was wrong with them because apparently they were drunk. So you might be used to the Buffalo Bulls being a pretty fine team there in the MAC East Division. Played for the championship last year. Probably should have won it. We thought they were going to cruise to victory, but I digress.
Actually, against the same opponent.
Yeah, against Ball State, who just came out of nowhere basically to win the West last year. But Buffalo lost 2 pretty important pieces. They lost Coach Lance Leopold, and they lost Jared Patterson to the Washington football team. It's made a hell of a difference. This team. It's the kind of the Texas of the East, Scott, and how that game looked last night against Ball State. A Ball State that kind of needed that win, didn't they?
Yeah, Ball State entered the game with 5 wins. Of course, the magic number in college football is 6 wins for bowl game eligibility. Ball State was only favored by 6 points at home against Buffalo, even though the game mattered a lot to Ball State, and Buffalo was already eliminated from bowl game contention. Plus, Buffalo was using a third-string quarterback because Van Treese was still out with an injury, and Ball State won the game 20-3.
Yep, not a pretty game to watch, but yeah, a game Buffalo was never in. Browns backers picking up a honey-baked ham. I highly recommend honey-baked ham, although you talk about long lines. Holy shit, to pick up your honey-baked ham, but it is the shit. Scott, I know you're not a ham guy, but if you've
I like honey and I like baked.
I was going to say, if you've had honey and you've had things baked, just imagine on your favorite meat, and it's very close to honey-baked ham. And then you got great honey-baked ham leftovers for sandwiches and stuff. It's fantastic. So anyway, quick reminder. I know we had more people have joined us than were there at the beginning. This is going to be the triple header today. It's going to be the marathon show. We're going to be like those old radio guys back in the 50s, Scott, when they just sat in the storefronts and they were on the air for 24 hours and shit. We're going to do our 3 shows back to back to back. We're going to do our regular show. We're going to do our NCAA football top 25 show. Then we're going to do our NFL show following that. So we've got and then we get a couple days semi off where we're not doing our regular show because we figured people would want to spend at least a little time with their families, right?
Apparently,
Scott, what is wrong with the Ducks?
So what's
St. Mary's last night? That was not a good look for the Quackers.
Well, they're getting killed by Houston right now. So the way that I would describe Oregon's problem is that they're letting their opponents score more points than what they're scoring. So Oregon's losing games. Does that answer your question?
No. Doesn't answer my goddamn question. Not one bit.
Not one bit. This
No.
team just, I don't know, just something about them. They just don't seem dialed in. I'm sure Altman will find a way to get them together at some point, but as of right now, they're complete fade material.
Yeah, they're not a good team right now at all. So, all right, man. Well, we've got a ton of action to get to. We're gonna, like I said, we'll talk about the NFL stuff. We'll talk about the college stuff on the respective shows. We do have one college game tomorrow, Scott. That's not going to involve any top 25 teams, as we have Fresno State and San Jose State. Kind of a rivalry game. There's 7.5. I know on paper, this Fresno State team's been very good, but they've had some weird letdown games. You think this is one of them? They're playing at San Jose State. Is that just a little too tall as far as that 7.5 goes?
I think it could be. The issue with San Jose State is that offensively, with the various quarterbacks they've had to use because Starkel's been injured for a decent amount of the season, and really just the lack of weapons at the receiver position, the offense isn't very good. And I do think that's a bit concerning. You're looking at recent form. They lost to Nevada by 3. No shame in that. You know, they covered the spread. And then at home, they played Utah State in their last game and lost by 31.
Got run out of the building, man.
Utah State followed up by losing outright to Wyoming. So I don't exactly think highly of this Utah State team. I think they're okay. But they did have a bye, so they do have the extra prep for this game. I'm going to go with Fresno. I know that it could look like a trap line if you think San Jose State gets ready for the home finale, but I think this Fresno team is just a much better football team.
There's no question they're a better football team. It's really just which version shows up. Yeah. I'll tell you what scares me if I'm San Jose State, and by the way, they should have Starkel back for this one. He's not on the injury report anyway. So
he should be back, but of course the issue is with him missing so much time and everything, is he going to be a little bit rusty? Is he going to struggle? I think this Fresno team's pretty underrated defensively. They're not great, but I think they're good enough in the Mountain West to force some issues.
San Jose State had 150 yards of total offense last week.
It's not good because Utah State's defense isn't very good.
12 yards on the ground, right? Utah State defense, not exactly a stellar unit. So I think Fresno State has a much better defense than they played last week. I'm just saying.
Plus, technically, Fresno State is still alive for a spot in the conference title game.
Yeah.
Because they're one game behind San Diego State. They do own the tiebreaker. So they're going to need San Diego State to lose.
Boise,
and they're underdogs in that game.
An underdog, yeah.
Yeah, so Fresno still has something to play for. They got a shot to potentially make it to the conference title game.
Yep. I'd sure like it a lot better without that hook. And I know weird things happen in this game. But having said that, I just don't think this San Jose offense is going to have enough at the end of the day. So,
in non-rivalry games, I know every conference game is technically a rivalry game, but let's be real. Every team has a decent amount of serious rivals. If this is not one of them, you need to make sure motivation is going to be present for the team that's favored. You're still alive for a conference title game spot. You definitely know Fresno has this game circled because they need to get the job done.
And it's also a rivalry game. So,
well, I'm saying you can make the argument for rivalry games. There are some rivalries that are more important than others. If you needed any bit of added motivation, Fresno State is still playing for something.
Yeah, agreed. As far as the total goes, lean under.
I can't take an over with San Jose State.
Right. Agreed. All right. So,
I saw somebody asking about basketball, the way, about Baylor against Arizona State.
Yeah.
Arizona State's bad. This Baylor team's very good. Are they as good as they were last year? No. But they still have a solid backcourt. They still have Meyer, who I do like off the bench. They got a lot of talent. And Arizona State, they hung tough against San Diego State. Probably should have won the game. But Hurley has really done a pretty bad job for the last year and a half, 2 years. Baylor's a very, very talented basketball team. 12.5 does seem a bit short. You?
I think that's. I had that game circled as well. I'm really impressed with this Baylor team and what they've done. The Arizona State, and I don't think that San Diego State team is very good, Scott.
I don't think they are. I think they're okay. I thought they were better going into the year.
Yeah.
Than when they were when the year started.
Right.
But that game kind of just showed me the problems that the roster actually has, which is they don't really have many go-to guys who can get you a bucket. And Baylor has a bunch of guys who can get you a bucket whenever you need it.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Arizona State better than Stanford?
I would make the argument yes, but
Okay.
it's not as much of a blowout as you think it would be.
Are they 38 points better than Stanford? Because that's what Baylor beat Stanford by last time out.
I would say no.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. So
Another game I'm looking at potentially is Seton Hall taking on California. It's a bad California team. You're looking at them losing the first game against UC San Diego. Now, I know they were missing a guy or two, so they weren't at full strength there. But they played against Florida, lost by 20. I don't think this team's very good. Seton Hall, am I really going to roast them for losing a nail-biter game to Ohio State? No. I think that this team is a solid team in the Big East. I think that they're going to take care of business. California doesn't have the size in the interior. They don't have the shooting, and they don't have the athletes. Other than that, though, they're fine. So Seton Hall, I think, is going to win this game by 15 plus.
And it's not your East Coast bias at all showing up.
No, not at all. I don't go out of my way to root for Seton Hall, but I watched them play against Yale, and I think this team's very good.
Okay. Somebody asking Michigan laying 22 against Tarleton State.
Michigan really needs a bounce back, especially after they got embarrassed by Arizona in the final game on that day.
I think they get the win here.
I think they'll get the win too. When it comes to the actual cover, you talk about motivation.
Well, that makes it hard.
When you have to win by a certain margin, that's kind of tough. But for me, I'm looking at a spot where I think Michigan's going to cover. You really need to bounce back before things start to fully unravel. And after going through a very underrated Arizona team, which I like, and you go through some other games against Seton Hall, you lost. I think Seton Hall's a good team. You got a cupcake on your schedule. These are the type of get-right games where you need to win by 25 to 30. I think Michigan does it.
Okay. I'm just looking. They've really had just one blowout contender. They played Prairie View A&M. 23.5 was the number there. They won by 28. So they did cover the one big spread they've had. They've had a couple mid spreads, 12 against UNLV, 12.5 against Buffalo, covered both of those. So you could say every spread, every double digit or bigger spread Michigan's covered. They just struggled.
They've lost games to teams
in their
that
own ballpark.
Are either ranked or should be ranked. So I'm not going to, they should take care of business here. JC,
hey, say something nice about Arizona, would you?
I think they're a good team. I was going to say, JC's. I'm not hammering on Pac basketball.
I was giving you
like,
a chance.
I hammer on Pac football because that's just an overrated conference.
When I saw that comment, I went back through it and went, yeah, we pretty much have it. We've hammered Stanford, we've hammered Oregon, we've hammered Arizona State. Yeah,
I do like that Arizona team. I think Arizona's very good. And UCLA, yes, they got killed by Gonzaga. I'm not going to overreact. You're missing Cody Riley. And Gonzaga's a better team, especially with the size. You kind of needed Cody Riley in that game. UCLA will be fine. Arizona, I think, is a sleeper to win the conference. Besides that, though, do you have many other options? I think USC's an okay team, but when you lose Mobley and you still have his brother, you're not as good as you were the year prior.
I hear good things about that UCLA team.
I heard UCLA's pretty good, but you wouldn't be able to tell that from last night.
Nathan Cerna says style points needed for the Wolverines. I don't disagree with that, even this early in the season.
Yeah, you got to get right.
I don't think a 9-point victory over Tarleton does much to make you happy.
No, I think Michigan will, and I think Juwan Howard will prepare for really getting the team back on track, getting some mojo back together, and trying to win this game handily. Yeah, Lawrence, that was kind of my takeaway with UCLA, which is the situation that happened last year, which was the fact they went on a Cinderella run where they made it to the Final Four, but they also lost in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament to Oregon State. Now, Oregon State made a run as well, but UCLA wasn't a very talented team.
Barely got past Michigan State in the first four.
Yeah, that went to overtime, but right. I didn't think UCLA should have been in the tournament in the first place. And they ended up getting in. They ran with it. But talent-wise, they're not great. They're experienced. They play hard, and they play good defense. So they've checked some boxes, but it's kind of like Villanova, where I look at the team. Athletically, are they that dominant? No, but they're a smart, high basketball IQ team that plays good defense and can win close games.
Nathan Cerna says we're stacked here in New Mexico. Got Jamal Mashburn Jr., Jalen House, Trino Jr., and then getting some ASU transfers in. That's one of my regrets when my son lived in Albuquerque because of the pandemic. I wanted to go down there and see a game in the Pit because you'll hear great things about the Pit, how cool it is. And I wanted to go see a basketball game there in pandemic. Of course, they didn't have anybody in the stands. So
I think that even though I'm not a big fan of Patino, let's just say I prefer the Iona Patino over the former Minnesota Patino. I do think they're a dark horse candidate to win the Mountain West. That team does have a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess you're worried about what Colorado State there as well.
Colorado State's not bad. Boise looks like it's going to have a down year. They're usually in the running, but San Diego State we've seen has been kind of vulnerable. Wyoming's a good defensive team, but they don't really have much offensive talent at all. I think New Mexico has enough talent to surprise some people.
Yep, I agree. Bronco Devil said when I went to ASU, Byron Scott and Fat Lever were there. That'd have been a pretty good.
Solid backcourt to see.
Yeah. Ninja was right about Gonzaga spread. Respect. I get nothing for being right about the Gonzaga spread.
Nobody cares what you think.
My play of the day yesterday. Nobody gives a fuck. Okay.
Yeah, but you got it at 4.5. It takes true skill to give it out at 7.5.
Fair enough. Fuck closing line value. It's pointless. They win by 20. Who cares? I'll give a shout out to Ninja. I'm just busting balls. Congratulations, bud. That's a good call on Gonzaga. I like that team. I just didn't see how they were able to go up against the length of Gonzaga.
I saw a prop bet, and I want to ask you your thoughts on it. I don't know if you want to take it now or wait until after the Duke game because Gonzaga plays Duke next. I saw that FanDuel had Gonzaga to go undefeated for the entire season.
Yep.
At around 10-1.
We played this game last year.
I know we did. But is it time to bring it up again?
Oh, fuck.
I don't know.
It's good value. At 10-1, yes, play it. Is it going to happen? No. Should it happen about once out of 8 years with this team? Yeah, that seems about right. So there's value.
I mean, last year you were one game away, and you had a pretty nice hedge on Baylor if you did take the prop last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're able to if you got to the final game, so you're definitely able to hedge out of it. Bronco Devil wanted to know if my son lived close to Walter White. Actually, he lived close to the nail salon where Bob Odenkirk lived. Saul Goodman lived. So
in the back room.
In the back room. If you know Albuquerque at all, he lived on his apartment complex was on that same street a few blocks down. So Alvaro Jimenez, ready for some turkey? Fuck yeah. Scott, you a white meat or dark meat guy?
I'm a white meat guy.
White meat? Yeah, okay.
You?
Healthier, but I enjoy the taste of dark meat more. I eat either in chicken. Probably like white meat chicken, but
truth is I'll eat either, but out of preference, I'll go with the white meat.
White meat is so difficult to cook correctly. Best turkey I ever had, Scott. Somebody put 4 sticks of butter inside the middle of it. Fucking delicious.
Okay. That sounds very, very southern.
Probably took 3 years off my life, but yeah, it was worth it. So, because they're the years at the end. Both white and dark. Very good.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Wild money line, Celtics money line. Yeah, you a fan?
I think the Celtics, I actually think, are kind of being slept on in this game. As a Nets fan, I would know what to expect from my team. This team has been winning games. They haven't looked overly impressive in a decent amount of these games. They came from behind to beat the Cavaliers in the last game. They didn't cover. I didn't think they would, but they came back and won, so props to them. Boston's been looking good lately, though. We know that anytime you're going to the Garden, it's a tough place to play. Jaylen Brown's back, so they do have the main 2 guys with Tatum and Brown back together. Defensively, they're good. I am curious what the status is for Robert Williams, because we saw in the playoff series last year, Williams really did whatever he wanted defensively against this team, and I do think that the Nets really struggle on the interior. Aldridge has been good off the bench. Blake Griffin's been a complete waste of space, so I don't exactly expect much from him.
One of the best props I've seen so far this year has been Blake Griffin under 1.5 threes.
He can't shoot. He'll take a couple per game. He just can't shoot, but now they're barely even playing him because Aldridge has been so good. But I'm going with the Celtics there. I think it's a pretty good spot. The Nets have Harden, Durant, and Patty Mills, who's been a pretty good role player. Besides that, the rest of their supporting cast are really not that good.
No. It's been I would say it's hard to say it's a disappointing year for the Nets so far, but
no, you lost when you pay that much money for one guy on the cap and he's not there. I can't be that surprised that you've been good but not dominant.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. Good teams win, great teams cover. They've been a good team for fans. If you like the Nets, they're 13-5. They're in great shape. If you like to bet them, sorry for your troubles because they're 7-10-1 against the numbers. So
I'm just saying when you're playing James Johnson about 18 minutes a game now because Joe Harris is out, you're missing a couple of pieces.
right.
James Johnson should not be playing 18 plus minutes on a championship contending team. So that tells you all you need to know. I think Boston's got a serious shot to win the game. I'll take them to win the game at home.
Okay. All right. Very good. Bien trabajo. Hello, Scott Twins. Somebody thought we were last year. They thought we were father and son.
There's no resemblance there. Unfortunately, we might have been, but I don't have a hockey system, so I can't be your son.
Apparently, neither does he. No, it's still very good, and I know his ROI is probably still somewhere around 21-22%. I just knew dude. The first time I gave out a pick, it was gonna suck. It just had to be. So, Nets roster stinks. Well, it's a little top heavy. Put it that way.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Yeah.
Anything else in the NBA grab you today, bud?
Well, I have a play today on an NBA game involving the Hornets and the Magic. So if you want that play, check that out.
Okay.
Besides that, a lot of favorites in the NBA, and I don't like taking the dog in any of them. I mean, you can go through the matchups here. Chicago's favored by about 10. Houston's 1-16. They've lost 15 in a row. Now, Chicago got embarrassed by Indiana last game on a back-to-back. I do think they'll bounce back. I'm not sure if Caruso's going to play. If he does, then I love Houston team total under because that team plays at a very fast pace, but they can't score to save their damn lives. They are last in the league in offensive efficiency, and Chicago is an elite defensive team, especially with the backcourt of Alonzo and Caruso. That team total under for Houston, I do think is very tempting if Caruso does not play because
So
that team, home or road,
they're in a big hurry to take terrible shots.
Home or road, that team is awful at basketball.
Well, they've had more luck covering the number at home than they have on the road, and that's
why I'm looking at a team total under.
Yeah, I think that's a little more solid. I'm looking at this Memphis team that's won and covered 3 of their last 4 against a Toronto squad that has not been good on the road so far this season. Scott struggled lately. You believe in this Memphis team?
I like this team going into the year. Their win total suggested they would be around 500 for the entire year, and that's kind of where they're headed right now. Toronto's a young team. They got talent, but I do think they're a year or 2 away. It seems like just with inexperience and really some dumb decision-making that this team could be better than it actually is. Now, Memphis did beat Utah in the last game, which was an impressive win. Jaren Jackson had the big three-pointer at the end. However, that doesn't change the fact that defensively, this team's a mess, particularly guarding the three-point line. This team is awful when it comes to three-point defense, and I do think that that's going to come back and bite them moving forward. So for this matchup, Memphis had the very nice win against Utah, and I give them a props for that. This Toronto team, I do think, is a little bit stingy, and I actually like the over in this game as a play that I do think is the best option because Memphis goes pretty up-tempo. They don't play much defense. And Toronto has a little bit of a smaller lineup with Siakam at the 5. They started using Birch more, but they mostly go small. I like the over there. I think you'll see points.
Okay. Well, you're on an island there.
It's tough taking an over in the NBA today, but I do think there's
this Toronto team has not been playing well offensively on this road trip.
Oh, they have not. I'm just fading Memphis's defense.
They faced 2 terrible defenses in Sacramento and Portland, and they scored 110 points a game.
I'm just saying, you gave up 118 to Utah and 138 to Minnesota. I can't take an under in your game.
That's not a good look. It's not a good look. All right, I like Memphis there for the record. So
okay.
NHL.
Well, the Islanders are playing, right? I'm not taking them. I'll go with the Rangers because the Islanders are missing 7 people because of COVID. So I'm not taking the Islanders.
Why are they still
playing?
Having the Islanders play games here, bud?
No idea. New arena. If people show up, I don't know, but they're missing a bunch of guys, and it's a lot of valuable pieces. Rangers have been good this year. As an Islanders fan, of course, when you make the Eastern Conference Finals twice and run into a dynasty in the Lightning and lose both times, it hurts. But when you're missing this many guys, you're a shell of your former self, and I think you're getting a good price with the Rangers. You're looking
Yeah,
at the Islanders at home, new arena, great environment. Sure. How's
none of
that
that
going so far?
Yeah.
They've lost
Well,
both games.
be nice to see. And now they got the arena done, but the team's still incomplete. So
The Islanders have done very well against the Rangers over the last couple of years, so head-to-head would suggest a small play on the Islanders. I just don't agree with it because you're missing so many good players.
yep, agreed. Alvaro Jimenez wants to know if we're doing NFL and college next show. No, we're splitting them up. We're doing college next and then doing NFL, but there's going to be no break. Unlike weeks past, there's going to be no break. We're just going to keep rolling. We're going to end each show. We're going to say bye-bye, take care. We'll probably split them up as far as posting them goes, but in real time, we're going to be doing all three back to back to back. So
Anyway, I mentioned the Rangers in that spot. Looking at another team I actually like here, I like the Blues tonight against the Red Wings. The Blues were on a bit of a losing streak, bounced back quite nicely, winning 2 of the last 3. Detroit was pretty decent to start the year, but they've lost each of their last 4 games. To make matters worse, they've allowed exactly 5 goals in 3 of those 4 games. Now, that was a road trip. Now they return home. They're 5-2-2 at home, but St. Louis is playing better. We know offensively, St. Louis can put up a bunch of goals. Detroit's defense has been a mess lately, and I think that you're getting a pretty good price there in St. Louis.
Jones says the Maple Leafs and the Hurricanes win tonight. Nathan likes the Thunder team total under, dude.
I can't hate that. You have no Gilgeous Alexander.
Dude, it's got to be somewhere in the 96, 97 range.
See, you're probably right, but based on what's happening in today's NBA, does it really matter if it's in the 90s? Because you're looking at Utah. Defensively, they were not good against Memphis, but Memphis has a lot of talent offensively. What does Oklahoma City have? You have no Gilgeous Alexander. So you need, in order for you to lose, you need what? Dort to go for 30 points?
Yeah, that's well.
I'll take my chances there.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying Giddey's not a great shooter. Basley's a mediocre player, be a bench player on any other team. You have Robinson Earl, who can't really shoot. You don't really have many guys. With no Gilgeous Alexander, what are you supposed to do off the dribble?
I know. They've been a very good team against the number. I know most of those games are with Gilgeous Alexander, but these games have a way of jumping up and biting you sometimes, Scott. When you get start laying those points like that.
That's fair, but Gobert patrolling the paint as well. There's not even many easy looks at the rim. Oklahoma City might not score 90 in this game, so I really don't mind the team total under there.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good Utah defense. There's no argument. At the end of the day, probably my favorite defense in the NBA. So, college basketball got a lot of college basketball action here later on today. Now, whatever. If you want to watch the ugliest game of the day, how about a little Denver Air Force, the Battle of Colorado? Any interest there?
For basketball?
Yeah.
I'd look at the under.
No shit. Yeah, it's 122.5. But this Air Force team just goes so slow.
They go slow in Denver. We've seen in previous years.
They go so bad.
They might be pioneers, but not at offense because they don't really know how to play.
They're awful. Is that Denver team?
I already mentioned two that I like. I like Baylor laying a number, and I like Seton Hall laying a number because I do think both those teams should do well. For a game in about an hour and a half, I got to talk about it. It's the Wisconsin St. Mary's championship game for that tournament. Total's 118. Are they playing 4 halves? Are they playing 4 quarters?
Nope. Just the 2.
Just the 2? I'll take the under. Because Wisconsin scored 40 plus in the first half against Houston. Impressive. They shot the lights out. Second half, they fell apart. Offensively, they won the game, but they really reverted back to what I thought they would be. I got to take the under because St. Mary's plays at such a slow pace. Wisconsin plays at such a slow pace. I got to go with the under because I don't think either of these teams is going to score 60. So I have to take the under.
Okay.
Do you think one of these teams reaches 60?
I think one of them might reach 60.
Barely, if that happens.
I don't think they both do. It said Wisconsin easy money.
I don't know how good St. Mary's is. This team might be sneaking up on people because they play every game at what feels like midnight, so nobody's actually watching them play.
Right.
But I'm just going to go with the under. When the pace is going to be slow, and both these teams might be forced into some really long and ugly possessions in the half court, I got to go with the under.
Yeah, John C. This is no such thing as easy money. It definitely no such thing as easy money on Wisconsin. Good God. A good movie though. Did you ever see Easy Money? Rodney Dangerfield?
Yes, I have.
And the guy at the sulky is fucking put his heels down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel every time I go to watch the Trotters.
I'm sure you're not the only one who feels that way.
No, not a bit. I'll tell you another one, Scott. I like this Missouri State team. I like this Bears team going up against G-Dub, laying a pretty big number there as far as it goes, laying 11. But this is a George Washington team that just has trouble putting the biscuit in the basket, bud. And I think this is a good Bears squad. They've had some nice wins this season. Put up a pretty resounding victory over Long Beach State, a team that we didn't love, but had generally shown a little more offense up to that point. And George Washington has struggled on the season, losing by 20 to San Diego. That's a bad look. Not San Diego State either. So I wouldn't. I'm looking at the Bears covering a pretty good number there.
I'll tell you one underdog I'm actually looking at, which we talked about kind of as a joke a couple of days ago, but they covered anyway. I'm looking at Chaminade plus 20 against Baylor. Not against Baylor, against Butler. Because Butler lost to A&M yesterday. They were missing a couple other key pieces because of either injury or illness. And I'm not sure if any of them are going to be playing. Still up in the air, but they might be shorthanded. Chaminade has not totally embarrassed themselves in this actual tournament, but it's mainly because Butler can't score. If you're going to cover 20, you need to actually score on a regular basis. This Butler team cannot do that. I'll take the 20.
Okay. All right. Solid. T-Train loves Baylor tonight. Looking at Colgate against Harvard.
Kind of have to like Colgate, right? They went into the Carrier and they won by 15.
Yeah. Laying 3 in the hook to the red there, man.
Well, people know if they listened to my show last year, my daily pick show, that I was all over Colgate for most of the season.
Were you?
I was. Very, very good offensive team.
Yeah, they can definitely score it with the best of them, without a doubt. That seems like a short number to me, bud. This is a Harvard team that really hasn't played anybody. They played Iona, and they had a nice showing there, losing by 3 as a 10-point dog, but did not show up against Siena as a 5.5-point favorite. Ended up losing that one outright.
Well, I feel like you just kind of answered my thoughts on this game with that statement, because you said that they had a good showing as a 10-point underdog, losing by 3.
Right.
So they were a 10-point underdog to Iona, but they're only 3.5 underdog to Colgate.
Mm-hmm.
I think Colgate's a good team. I think they're arguably as good as Iona. So I'll go with Colgate.
Agreed. Good toothpaste too. Yep, absolutely. Are you a Crest or a Colgate guy, Scott? Or something unusual?
The offensive efficiency is too good for the toothpaste, so I'll go with Colgate.
Okay, fair enough. All right, buddy. It's time to get to it. We're going to end show number 1 here on a high note as we take a look and find out our losing streak has reached 3 days, Scott. I'm not happy about it.
3. I know. Didn't we have a winning streak of like 5 before?
I know, but nobody remembers that. No,
nobody cares.
They remember how much you suck. You're terrible. You've never won a fucking game. Let's do it, bud. Let's climb on that tractor. Let's get ready. Put on our straw. Put on our pilgrim style straw hats as we grab our turkeys, climb on the tractor, fire that bad boy up. We're looking to expand our empire on today's version of Bet That Farm.
By the way, I noticed that you're wearing a Kansas State shirt. Is that a coincidence?
That's weird. Yeah, because usually we try to dress up a little bit for this show. Put a little collar on, maybe a little button down. Today I got a K-State t-shirt on, Scott. Why would I do that? Well, because we're playing the K-State Wildcats against the Texas Longhorns. That's a Friday game, right, buddy?
Yes, I believe so.
Beautiful. K-State catching 3 down there in Austin. That's available at -105, as the kids say, offshore. And there's a couple of reasons that we like it. I'm getting ready to put them up here. First of all, excuse me, K-State defense has been pretty darn good lately, as they've given up just 15.7 points per game in their last 4. Scott, you and I were talking about Skylar Thompson the other day. The kid's kind of a sneaky good quarterback. He's 15th in the country in yards per attempt, and he's 31st in the country in QBR. Of course, Texas, their struggles have been well documented, as they have been horrific the last 6 games. They have lost the last 6 outright, and of course, failed to cover the number. Everything running back Bijan Robinson is out. And Texas, if you want to stop Kansas State, you better be able to stop the run with Deuce Vaughn, and Skylar Thompson's got good wheels. Texas is not great against the run. I think Deuce Vaughn should have some success here. And last but not least, the last point that I want to make about this Texas team, at home, they fucking lost to KU. Case closed. That's it for me. K-State plus the 3. That's bet the farm, baby.
I think the issue that the odds makers run into is that they know the fan base for Texas is so strong that people will bet on the Longhorns regardless. But at some point, when you keep waiting for a team to snap out of it and they never snap out of it, this is who they are. They're a non-eligible bowl team because they're not good enough to go to a bowl game.
That's right. Kansas has 7 wins. They're playing for better bowl positioning. Texas, they're playing out the string. They just want this nightmare of a season to be over.
What's the motivation there?
They have none.
You got nothing.
None. Pride. The eyes of Texas are upon you, Scott. That's it.
I don't know if you have any pride when you lose to Kansas at home.
Can't do it. There's just you got none left. All right, guys, that's it. K-State plus the 3. That's 1 in the can. Check us out. Stick around. We're going to be right back on the other side with our college football show. But that's going to do it for our heading back to the window show for this week. For myself and for Scott, for all of us here at Winners and Winers, we appreciate you guys checking us out. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll talk a little college football right around the corner. Peace. All right, you ready? You ready?
Well, you didn't end the recording yet, so.
You
didn't end the recording.
I'm not ending the recording.
I thought we were doing multiple shows.
We are doing multiple shows, but we're gonna chop them later.
But this is going straight live to YouTube. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does.
How are you going to chop it after?
I've got to talk to Jim about that. But we can't. This is
what?
Yeah, I know.
Just end the thing, and then we'll start another one.
No, because we're not doing it. We're going.
Okay, fine.
You ready?
We'll do it live.
And we're doing it. We'll do it live.
Okay, whatever. That makes no sense, but sure, whatever.
Here we go. It's the college show, everybody. Welcome back. There seem to be some logistical disagreements here on how we're going to chop this up. We are going to chop it up, but we have like 50 people watching, dude. By the time we went out and everything and came back, it'd be too late. So I'm not.
I'm not sure what the point is of chopping it up after it's already posted to YouTube.
So people, whatever. Well, either that or I'll put markers in. That's more likely. I'll put.
Okay, markers, that works too.
Markers in the comment section. And
cool.
I'm not going to make everybody fast forward and figure it out.
It's going to be the longest YouTube title of all time, by the way.
It's going to be a long one. All right, so let's take a look in college football, Scott, as we go to week 13. That does not seem possible. Time has absolutely flown by. Let's take this out here. Okay, very good. So last week, Scott, good week for you. You went 2-1. I went 1-2. I had Notre Dame. I lost on Florida, as you and I both had that Mizzou game called incorrectly, as they were actually won it outright in a tight, low-scoring affair. And Arkansas State and Georgia State, I got to be honest with you, that's a pick. Almost as soon as I made it, I regretted it. And that one did not hit as far as the over goes. Yourself, what'd you have last week, bud?
So I had Florida, Missouri over 69. I got overtime. I needed about 7 of them. Didn't get there. I had Western Kentucky minus 9.5 against Florida Atlantic. They won that game by 35. And I had North Texas minus 9.5 against FIU. And they won that game by, I believe, 42.
Yep, they actually are 49-7, if I'm not mistaken. They sort of said you get to see behind the scenes. You get to see how the sausage is made. That's right. That's right. Such great production. Dude, it's gonna get better because we're actually gonna start plugging in videos and stuff too. Now that it was kind of a multi-layer process as we had to learn the system, and then we had somebody help us run the show, and then they kind of turned it over to me, and then I'm kind of getting up to speed. So now I feel comfortable running the show for the most part. So the next step is to be plug more shit in. So it's going to be quite an extravaganza as much as soon as I can have it all assimilated in my brain. So it's good to be here. Ole Miss looks intriguing. Yeah, we're going to talk about Ole Miss here in a minute, Scott. But for the season, I don't want to give you a chance to brag on your record. I'm 19-17 overall, profitable. You know what? At the end of the day, it's a grind, but it's not ideal, but it's okay. You, on the other hand, you are having a damn fine college football season, 21-14-1. You are, what is that? That's a 67% there, buddy, right?
Yeah, so far.
Pretty impressive. Pretty.
I'm not going to toot my own horn. I blew a lead last year.
That's right. You blew. You were heading for. You were dancing. You were heading for high stepping towards the end zone, and I was able to knock your ball out at the 1 yard line and recover it in the end zone. So we'll see if that happens this year. But let's get her started. This is a game close to my heart. This is one of those made up rivalry games that only exists because of geography, but not really a rival per se. As the number 25 ranked Arkansas Razorhawks entertain my alma mater, the Missouri Tigers, down there in Fayetteville. Arkansas, Scott, pretty good team, and they are a 15-point favorite in this one. You and I were all over fading Mizzou last week, me fading them outright, and you basically faded the defense by taking the over. And that ended up being incorrect as the defense played very good football. Or here's another idea. Florida is awful and ended up getting the win. So can Mizzou keep that momentum going in a quote unquote rivalry game, or is the better team just going to cover this number? 62.5 is the total, by the way.
I'm taking Arkansas because even though Missouri ended up pulling it out, they needed one win to reach a bowl game, senior night as well. So it was definitely a nice emotional win for the program. But Basilik, right? Either way, he's been banged up for the last couple of weeks, and I am kind of wondering what the actual game plan is for Missouri in this game. They really needed the win last week to get to the magic number 6. Now that they have gotten it, what's the added edge of actually trying to pull off the upset here besides pride?
Yeah, that's it. You're just looking for a little better bowl positioning there. T-Train says, you watching us eyeballing the UConn game and stock trading before the market closes. I'm assuming for the weekend. Do they open on Friday?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, they open on Black Friday.
I'm in the crypto business, so I don't know.
the crypto business. I told you I finally opened a crypto account. I got $25 of free money. When it showed up on my account, it was worth like $24.60. I opened it up yesterday. It's now worth $27. I don't even know how it happened. I don't even know what the fuck I have because it says USD. I don't even hold any kind of crypto, but my dollars went up. So I'm killing it. 10% a day, Scott. I'm going to be rich in about a month.
You're on your way.
Nathan says Arkansas all day on Friday.
But anyway, sorry. So Missouri, I don't know if they're playing for anything. Arkansas hung tough with Alabama. Yep. They almost won the game.
Yep.
And I do think that this is still a very solid football team that Sam Pittman has. I think Arkansas rolls here.
I agree. I'm going to hate myself if I fade Mizzou 2 weeks in a row and they end up covering for me. That'll teach me. As far as the total goes, I've got the under in this one. I just don't see Mizzou getting much going. They've got Beatty, and that's really about it. So if Arkansas can stop the run, they should be able to have great success against Missouri.
Missouri had issues moving the ball against Florida.
Yeah.
Samford had 52 points against Florida. I got to take the under.
Not a good look. Not a good look at all. All right. So, hey, speaking of UConn, a UConn team they're not so quite as proud of. They're up in stores as they entertain the Houston Cougars. Scott, number 24 ranked Houston Cougars. Beware of the look-ahead spot. UConn catching 32 at home. 56.5 is your total. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I'm going to take UConn. I just think it's going to be a serious look ahead spot for the Cougs as they are looking at that Cincinnati game next weekend. There's no better team to look ahead against than UConn. I think the Cougars probably win this one 20 by 21 or 24. I don't think they get to 32.
I agree. I'm with UConn. Just because of the fact that Houston, you look at the games that they've won recently, they ended up beating Temple by 29. Awful team. Temple's terrible. Beat Memphis last week. Impressive win there. They've won a bunch of games in a row. The only game they lost actually was to Texas Tech in the opener. But as you said before, you're playing Cincinnati in the conference title game. What's the point?
Yeah.
So the main purpose is win, and most importantly, don't get injured. So I think they'll coast to a big lead. I'd be shocked if Toon played more than 2.5 quarters in this game.
I was going to say second half should over under on Clayton Toon coming out should be halftime.
Yeah, that's what I would set it at, assuming you're up double digits at the half, which they should be. If you want to take Houston, I would take the first half. But UConn at home, they're going to play till the end because they barely are competitive in any games they play. But Houston just wants to survive in advance. I think that's how they treat it. I think worst case scenario is UConn loses by 28. That's still enough to cover.
Yep, absolutely correct. STM Networks is still going. Yeah, we are.
I also like the under because I think that Houston has been an underrated defense all year long. And once you actually start pulling the guys, just run the damn ball and get out of there.
I'll go the other way. I'll take the over.
Really? Even though you think Toon's going to get pulled?
Yeah, but I think that the second team for number one, I think Houston will probably put up 30 in the first half, 27 to 31 in the first half, and I think that'll be able to get us there. I wouldn't put the second half over. But
fair enough.
Put you down for the under. Nathan Cerna says very impressive. 30 plus 32 maybe. Yeah, that's
it's a lot, especially for a road team that has a more important game on the horizon.
Yeah, so they said they wanted to get the dub and get out the second string. Yeah, totally agree. Maybe the third string as well. Scott, one of the more, I don't know if you can call them surprising based on how they played the first 6 weeks of the season or so. I guess they're surprising at this point. The Clemson Tigers now back in the poll at number 23 as they head to the Cox. They're going to grab some Cox as they take on South Carolina. Clemson laying 11 on the road.
They woke up, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a great story and all. Is Clemson 11 points better than anybody?
I think they might have to be because they've been great at home all year long. They buried Wake Forest. That game was not even close.
Yeah, they really did, and I was on the wrong side of that. I really thought Wake would have something for them. I underestimated how terrible that Wake defense is.
My imaginary system liked Clemson. I ended up trusting my gut, which was the wrong choice, and going with Wake. But the point is, Clemson defensively we know is great. South Carolina also reached that magic number. Now, this is a rivalry game, so I think South Carolina is still going to put the pedal to the metal. But, Nathan, I'll disagree with you a little bit because you're saying Clemson needs style points. For what? They've underachieved the entire season. I don't know what style points do for you at the end.
For bowl placement, because they would get.
You don't think reputation alone would just get them a good bowl?
I think it certainly helps, but I think 9 wins versus 8 wins is a huge difference. And I think if you win that one, last one with style. Now,
I think they're going to win the game handily anyway.
That's the problem with style points is that South Carolina is not that good of a team.
Correct. They are a bowl eligible team though, so that helps. But I do like Clemson here.
They are
defensively. They're going to do whatever they want. South Carolina offensively, I watched them play against Auburn last week. Auburn's a decent defense, but South Carolina offensively struggled. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I do think Clemson might have found something with the ground game over the last couple of weeks. I think they'll win by 14. Give me Clemson.
Yeah, they absolutely pounded it on the ground against Wake Forest last week, going for 330 plus 6
Isn't that crazy? Their quarterback was awful for the entire season, so they started to run the ball. It's like Wisconsin. They realized Graham Mertz can't throw, so they started running the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, I think they'll do that. And that was really just the last game because they'd run for basically 3.5 yards per carry or less. The 2 games prior to that, including against UConn. So they hadn't really pulled out. The ground game really didn't find traction until last week, and it certainly found it in a big way. I want no part of the Cox here. What's What's more scandalous, Scott? South Carolina or Mizzou going to a bowl game? Jesus.
I'm going to say South Carolina for preseason expectations, but I got to give them props, though. They were using grad assistant at quarterback. They had a lot of quarterback issues. Missouri was just bad.
Yeah, true. All right, I got Clemson. You?
I'm going with Clemson, and I'm going with the under. It's an ugly total. Clemson could potentially score 35. My question for you, I know they're at home. How many points does South Carolina actually score in this game?
Yeah, that's
Like
the
10?
yeah. I was going to say if they get to 14, you should be happy.
Yeah, that's how I would view it. I don't think they get to 14. So I'm going to go with the under in this one.
Is this the college show now? Okay.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I feel like we should have made multiple shows, but whatever. We'll let it ride.
But see, I was greedy. I wanted to keep the viewers because we had like 50 viewers. And every time we take a break, everybody's like, "Oh fuck, I'm going to go do something."
Yeah, you want to keep the viewers, but chop it into 3 videos after production.
Yes.
Do you know how to do that? Do you have the technology for that?
I have the technology. I don't have the knowledge, but I can acquire the knowledge.
Okay, so we're gonna figure it out as we go instead of just cool.
We're gonna figure it out afterward. Jesus Christ.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
By the way, I happen to know who STM Network is. I'm not impressed with that question. As we just spent the last 15 minutes talking about college football. Yeah, it's the fucking college show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's got another hockey pick for us.
I don't think you trust the system, man.
How about number 22? Meep. It's the Roadrunners of UTSA minus 10.5 as they head down there to take on the North Texas Mean Green. 59 is your total. UTSA. You let me down. You let me down, guys.
Well, they won. So
I know.
I liked UAB last week. That was a hell of a game, by the way. Arguably the game of the weekend.
It was. It was a good game. UTSA, Scott, do they have a chance at the college football playoffs?
No.
Okay. Joan says it's fine to go from one to another, no breaks. Yes, thank you, Joan. I agree. Absolutely correct. Wanted to make sure I wasn't coming in and spewing NHL picks. That's a good plan, son. Anytime. Both these teams have been good against the number, Scott. Both of them 8-3 ATS. North Texas needs this win to get bowl eligible. I may have some bad news for the boys in green. I don't think they get there. They're catching, like I said, 10 in the hook. UTSA, are they a little frosty after last week, or are they happy to get out with the win?
I think they're still drinking. I like North Texas here. I think they got a shot to win the game. I acknowledge that UTSA is a team that I really like, and I know that they're a very talented team. They just won the biggest game that their program's ever had, and it is such a prime letdown spot to go on the road after beating the juggernaut of the conference and facing off against a North Texas team that's been really flying under the radar lately.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Mean Green here. I think it's too many points. We saw UTSA struggle with a look-ahead spot again, leading up to the UAB game as they barely beat Southern Miss, and that's a pretty bad team.
Yeah.
But you're facing off against North Texas. I think the Mean Green are live in this one. I like them plus the points.
Well, here's my problem. For North Texas to have success, they have to be able to run the football. And not very many teams have been able to run the football successfully against UTSA. Now, UAB did because they absolutely committed to it. But I'm just not sure that North Texas is going to be able to replicate that success. If they do, I agree with your assessment. I think North Texas is live here.
I like them at home, and the fact that they are bowl eligible with a win does add a little bit of extra motivation. Now, UTSA, of course, will be motivated because they might get a New Year's Six bowl, so they're trying to do whatever they can. But I do think that North Texas is an underrated team, and I think that there's some value to it.
I would agree. This is a UTSA team that's been very good to us all season long. As far as
I'm also biased because I had North Texas last week and they covered for me.
Yeah, fair enough. And they put up a ton. What, they put up 59 last week, 49,
49. Yeah, they killed
49-7 over FIU, which is FIU, please. I'll ride with you on North Texas. I think this is a letdown spot for UTSA as far as the total goes. I think there's going to be a lot of running the football in this game. I think there's going to be some better defense than anticipated. I'll play the under.
I'm going to go with the under as well. I think it'll be a close, grinded out game. I see 28-24.
Yeah, I don't think that's far from wrong.
Cool.
Used to hate and love Thanksgiving week when I was working.
I'm still working during Thanksgiving, so
yeah, it depends on what you do. I know when I was working at the casino, hated Thanksgiving week because it was rookie week. You had people coming in from out of town. They want to fucking go to the casino and where's your $5 blackjack tables? Shut the fuck up.
Thanksgiving was always interesting for me because I used to go to Florida to visit my grandparents for the holidays, but I was working. So I would have to sprint home from Thanksgiving dinner to write articles. And that was how I usually spent my Thanksgiving night.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. This is a game we talked about earlier in the other show as San Diego State hosts Boise. Got a weird one here, Scott. Boise, unranked and the road team, yet they are 2.5-point favorites over the San Diego State team that nobody likes. 40
bore the crap out of me every time.
This is your number. Everybody hates watching this fucking team play. Is there any value on San Diego State as a home dog against a Boise team that has been fairly inconsistent, but has been finding their way a little bit lately? Meanwhile, San Diego State has been kind of playing with their food there, Scott. They've fucked around with the teams from Nevada, UNLV, and Nevada.
They won
well. They did. They didn't cover, and then they, of course, they go to the island and don't cover there either. Meanwhile, Boise, don't look now, but they've won 4 straight, covered 3 of them, failing only against Wyoming, and that was a
miracle.
That took a bit of a miracle there at the end, as Wyoming basically doubled their passing yardage on one play to get the late backdoor cover. But other than that, very impressive wins against Colorado State and Fresno State. I see why they're favored, yet this is still, at the end of the day, a damn fine San Diego State defense. What you got here?
So you asked before, is there any value on taking the Aztecs at home? The answer is yes, because they are currently fighting for a spot in the conference title game. They have not clinched it yet, so there is something to play for, and they're at home. Having said that, I'm taking Boise because I think Boise is the better team. San Diego State defensively is very good. Whatever quarterback they use, they're all terrible. And you're looking at the ground game. Greg Bell was the main guy early in the year, been a bit banged up, which has been a concern throughout his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Boise has enough weapons to find some holes in the San Diego State defense. And Boise has been playing better lately. I do think it's pretty telling, either reputation-wise or just based on current form, that Boise State is favored against a team that's in first place in its division, still competing for something. So it looks like an okie doke, like it's trying to get you to take San Diego State. I'm going Boise because when in doubt, they own this conference.
Agreed. I think they're playing good football right now. I think it took them a while to get going. I've got Boise there as well. I'm going to play the.
I'm still not a big Bachmeier guy, but I do think that he's good enough to exploit some holes in this defense.
I'm taking.
He's better than whoever San Diego State has.
I got the under 44.
I have to like the under because I don't think San Diego State's going to score if they're going to lose this game.
Bronco Devil said I had to do logs every day, and for Thanksgiving had to do the whole weekend by Wednesday. You mean like physical logs, like in the river, like coming down the chute and shit? You had to like direct the logs, or you had to.
I was kind of hoping he meant like lumberjack logs,
or lumberjack
like
them either way.
Like trees.
Fuck me, dude. That's
That does not sound like a fun time.
No. You ever lumberjacked a tree? You ever climbed a tree?
No. That's why I'm doing games on YouTube.
What's the tallest tree you ever climbed? What's the highest you've ever been in a tree?
It's a good question.
10 feet? You ever been 10 feet?
I don't think 10. I think I probably topped out at 5.
Jesus. Okay.
I think. I don't even know.
Never have a tree house or anything?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Good chat.
Why would I stay in a tree house if I have an actual house?
to get away from everything, man.
Every house is made of trees.
I hate you so much sometimes.
Thank you.
North Carolina State, UNC. North Carolina State's at home, ranked number 20, given a 6 to the Heels. 62.5 is the number. Oh, program logs for TV. Well, that's very different. Still a lot of work. Probably a lot less smashed fingers and broken ankles, though. So
you need one less axe for that type of job.
Yes, one
less chainsaw.
Oh man. You know what? I can't quit this North Carolina State team now. It took almost an entire season to convince me that they sucked, that they didn't suck, and now
I was on them when the season started, man.
Okay.
So I think this team underperforms at times. North Carolina is a team that is all offense, no defense. It is a very intense rivalry game, though, so I don't really feel great about laying 6 in this spot. But at least North Carolina can stop somebody occasionally. North Carolina is just handing out touchdowns.
Yeah.
And yes, I know the defense buckled down against Pittsburgh in the second half. The weather was a disaster. So I think that played a factor as well. Give me NC State. I'll take the over.
All right. Yeah.
I can't take an under with North Carolina.
No, you can't. And I see nothing. This is an NC State team. It's playing good football right now.
Like, I'm going to criticize them for losing by 1 possession at Wake Forest? Of course not.
Yeah, no. And again, with that defense, you can't play an under. Plus, you still have Sam Howell. You know, he's going to get his. He may not get enough to win or cover, but they're not going home empty-handed. UConn second half may never end. I'm not watching the.
I'm assuming it'll end before our 3 shows end. Hopefully.
Another game is going to be Friday, Scott. Number 19 in the country, Utah hosts the disappointing Colorado Buffaloes. 23.5 is the number. 52.5 is the spread right there in that one. I'll let you go first.
It's such a good letdown spot for Utah after the dominating win over a top 4 opponent last week. But Colorado is so bad.
Can't score.
Utah, we saw them struggle against Arizona, but Arizona switched quarterback, so maybe that provided a spark. Maybe Utah overlooked them a little bit, which could be the case in this one. But Colorado can't score, and Utah up front should dominate from a physicality perspective. I think Utah's going to win. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game, but I think they might win this one 35-10. I'm not sure Colorado's going to score a touchdown.
Well, this has been a very good Utah team, especially at home. They have really taken care of business against Oregon, against UCLA, against Washington State. Basically, everybody you throw at them, Arizona State, all good, solid home wins and covers. Without the exception of Washington State, they didn't cover by 4. But you said it, but this Colorado team they're just awful, and they can't score. They did beat Washington last week. Congratulations, Washington's not a very good football team either. They put up 29 on Oregon. I'm not sure how they did that. I think Oregon just got bored because they put up half a hundo.
Yeah, Oregon was kind of blowing them out by about 30, and then they ended up scoring a couple of garbage time touchdowns there.
I think the big surprise there is the 37 against Oregon State. I think that one basically came out of nowhere. But this is a Utah defense that's been very underrated because everybody talks about how good their offense is. I held Oregon to 7 points last week, bud. So
I'm going with Utah, and I like the under.
I want no part. I want no part of Colorado in this. As far as the total goes, yeah, it's hard to go over when one team scores. I'm with you. I've got the under there as well. Cool. Kind of a boring show so far, isn't it?
A little bit.
Okay, number 18, Wake Forest. We've been roasting them. By the way, have we been all chalk so far?
No, I got North Texas.
Yeah, we both got North Texas and UConn. Okay, all right. I was just looking. It felt chalky because I knew this was going to be chalk for me too. I can't get behind this Boston College team. I can't do it. I think that's a good number. I think that 4.5.
This is such a damn trap line. It's just right there. Boston College has been awful. They lost to Florida State last week. am I going to criticize Wake for getting buried by a team that was supposed to run the conference? They didn't look good, but Clemson at home has been a world beater. They've been awful on the road. Oh, boy. I'm going to go with Wake. Boston College couldn't even beat Florida State in Boston College. If you can't do that, I can't expect you to beat Wake Forest.
Well,
or even keep it close against Wake Forest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I just don't know. I mean, this Boston College defense isn't bad. They're not nearly as good as Clemson, obviously. My issue is, despite the 41 they put up against Georgia Tech, they just don't have a fucking offense, dude. They just can't score. You're going to have success because it's the Wake Forest defense. So you're going to be able to do a little something. But at the end of the day, I don't think Boston College gets enough stops. I've got Wake there as well.
The total, I think, is the trickier part.
Yeah, I agree. I can't play.
I'm going under.
I want to say I can't play an under with this team.
You can't play an over with Boston College, and you can't play an under with Wake Forest.
You know what? I'm going over, and you're taking the under.
I'm going to go under. I hope Boston College, since the spread is still short, can at least shorten the game by running the ball.
Okay, all right. I think that's possible. Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett headed to the Carrier Dome to take on Syracuse. Syracuse, 13.5-point favorites there. Number 17 in the country, 58.5 is the number there. Syracuse randomly plays good football. Is this one of those random weekends that happens, Scott?
I think it might be. I don't know what Pitt's playing for. Besides, you have, of course, improving your bowl game standing, but you already clinched a spot in the conference title game. You know you don't want to get Pickett hurt.
Right.
You're missing a decent amount of weapons on offense for the last couple of weeks. Addison had 4 touchdowns last week, so he looked great. But I think that you're going to see a situation kind of like the Houston game. Open up a decent lead, pull everybody, and see what happens. So I actually am going to go with Syracuse in this spot.
You know what? I am too. I fell for it with Northern Illinois. And
I think Pickett's going to play. That's in this game, unlike Lombardi, but I don't think he's going to play long.
No, they still got an outside shot with a monster day to get him a Heisman. I don't see it, but
do I think they're going to go all out, balls to the wall with a guaranteed spot in the conference title game? The answer is no. And Syracuse at home has been competitive in spots. I think Pitt's going to win, but I think that it's going to be closer than people think. And Pittsburgh's defense randomly has just not shown up to games. So this defense is good, but occasionally they just don't bother. This might be one of those games where they don't bother.
Well, the problem with Syracuse obviously is their offense.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
They've scored just 41 points the last 3 games. But if there's ever a team to get well, is all of a sudden, like you said, is a Pitt team that you saw some cracks. You saw 38 against Miami. You saw 29 against Duke. You saw some signs of trouble on the horizon.
That's the glaring one. The 29 against Duke is the glaring one for me.
Yeah, 38 against Miami is no party either, and that was a game that they lost.
Yeah, but Van Dyke's actually been okay in the pocket. Duke's done nothing the whole year.
No, you're right. Cutcliffe has got a problem on his hands. Probably where to find his next job is going to be his major problem. I'm playing the under there. What are you doing?
Tempting to take the over because they're in a dome, but I'm going to go with the under because I think Pickett gets benched.
Okay. All right, Iowa. I've got him at -1.5. Is that number still right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I find this line the weirdest line of the entire weekend.
Iowa -1.5 over Nebraska at home. Of course, Iowa ranked number 16. Short favorite over the Cornhuskers. 41 is your total there.
If Nebraska's, this small of a dog, then they're expecting a huge game from Adrian Martinez, right?
Oh, gotta be. He's finally his last fucking game.
Well, no, because he's not playing.
He's already played his last game.
He's also a junior, so he'll be back next year.
Junior?
He's a junior.
He's
back again. No, he's back again. I found that out the other day. But they're going to be using Colby Smulders, I believe his name is.
But I think that's the chick from How I Met Your Mother.
I've seen that. I think that's Kobe. I think it's Kobe. Either way, the point is he's also another mobile quarterback. I saw him play briefly in garbage time against who is that against? Fordham, I think, in the first game of the season. The guy can run. He can't really throw. But Nebraska is the king of blowing games they should win in the fourth quarter. Nebraska might be the best 3-8 team I've ever seen. But I'm going to go with Iowa because Nebraska's missing a bunch of guys, including their starting quarterback. How am I supposed to take you in this spot? Scott Frost can't win a close game to save his life.
In fairness, the quarterback that they're missing is terrible. So
that is true, but he is very, very mobile, and he has some kind of an arm. I just have a hard time throwing a young kid under the fire against one of the best defenses in the conference.
You say under the fire?
Into the fire.
Okay. Because under the fire would be dirt.
That is true. Or wood.
I'm not touching an over with this Iowa team. I'm not doing it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the over.
Ballsy young man, sir.
They gave up 35 points to Wisconsin. They couldn't stop the run. I think Iowa might have some success on the ground.
Okay. Got you down. Texas.
I want to actually confirm what the guy's name was. It was Logan Smothers.
Okay.
My apologies. But yes, so far this season, he has attempted 11 passes.
And for the record, he was not on How I Met Your Mother?
No, he was not.
Okay. Good enough.
He was not. The person with that name's also a female. But besides that.
She's cute. She's a Canadian.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Texas A&M ranked number 15th in the country, 6.5-point favorites as they travel to take on LSU down there in the southern version of Death Valley. Of course, they call it Clemson Death Valley as well. And I believe there's a Death Valley in California, too. It's the fucking desert. LSU, Scott, Eddie O, dead man walking. I don't think Sister Pragine is even going to can save him at this point. It's all over.
Well, it's not a matter of saving. He already admitted he was going to leave. So.
I know. It's done. It's over. That's why I said she can't save him. Do you know that reference?
I do not.
Fucking too funny for the room. God damn it. A&M.
Well, to make you feel better, we are in different rooms.
Good. Seems like a spot to take a dog. I'm not sure this is the right spot. I'm
going with LSU.
Did they win one for the O, buddy?
Did they win one for the Gipper? No. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll be close. Defensively, this team's gotten better. I do think that A&M, after that Ole Miss performance, I think Calzada might be reverting back into the guy that we thought he was earlier in the season. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I think it'll be ugly. But LSU's getting a lot of points here at home. I'm going to take them. You?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't do it. This offense just is struggling right now for me.
It's one of the only times I'll have left to say go Tigers. So I'm going to go with LSU.
They put up 27 on Monroe last week.
Yeah. Oh, I watched it. It was not pretty.
I can't do it.
Give me the under.
By the way, your assignment, as always, if you haven't seen it, go watch The Water Boy, watch the Blake Clark guy, the assistant coach, and then watch Ed Orgeron and tell me there's a difference. 45.5 is the number.
Under.
I think I'm correlated with the under there, bud.
I'm going under, but since it's a low total, I'm correlating it with the large spread.
With the cover, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Your Badgers heading up to
Minnesota.
It's the You Betcha Bowl. You betcha. Badgers laying 7.
Damn it, they want that Paul Bunyan axe.
They are playing for the Paul Bunyan axe. This is the another battle of gnarly rodents as the Gophers and the Badgers wait only for the Wolverines to get involved. Man, is there any team more confounding than this goddamn Minnesota team, Scott?
No. And that's why it's a spot where Minnesota might show up and maybe surprise Wisconsin for a half. Not even being biased, because you know that I'm one of the harshest critics of the school that I went to when it comes to their school teams. I like Wisconsin here because I don't know what to like about this Minnesota team. I mean, you look at the offense. They're on their, 7th running back this season because the previous 6 got injured. Ibrahim actually said he's coming back next year. So good for them. They got him back. Yeah. But for this game in itself, Wisconsin's defense is nuts. They struggled the last week against Nebraska, but they've had issues in the past with mobile quarterbacks. Minnesota doesn't really have that, at least to the same degree that Adrian Martinez is mobile. I like Wisconsin because I really don't know how Minnesota is going to score when they had issues against Bowling Green and Illinois offensively. This will be ugly. I think Wisconsin wins this game 27-10.
So Minnesota defense has been playing pretty well. They've given up 16 or less in 4 of their last 5. Tell me how Wisconsin, Scott, gives up 30 points in their 4 previous games and then gives up 28 to Nebraska in 1 game. How does that happen?
Because I saw Adrian Martinez play in his I think it was freshman or sophomore year. There are some quarterbacks or just some prototype quarterbacks that will always give specific defenses problems. And mobile quarterbacks has always given Wisconsin issues. And Martinez is that guy who has randomly had good numbers against Wisconsin's entire career. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So,
yeah, this is a Wisconsin team that's won last 5 that covered 4 of their last 5.
do you think Minnesota can stop Allen on the ground? Because he's been going crazy, and I'm not sure they can.
Well, it's a Minnesota defense that's been pretty good against the run. Illinois actually had a little bit of success, and that's some scary shit right there when Illinois rushes for $185. I'm going to go counterintuitive. I'm going to take the Gophers. You're taking the Badgers there, bud?
I'm taking Wisconsin. It just seems like one of those games that they will win by double digits because they're the much better team in the spot, but I like the under. Points will be at a premium. I just think Wisconsin might even force some turnovers in plus territory, but it seems like Wisconsin has finally turned Graham Mertz into what he should be, which is an official handoff guy, because he never throws the ball, and that's what he should do. But I do think this defense is ferocious, and I think that Allen will have another 140-plus yard game, 2 touchdowns. So give me Wisconsin in the under.
A lot of running clock there too. A lot of
Yep.
rushing going on. So I'm going to take the under as well and fade you on your Wisconsin pick. Cool. BYU, USC, BYU road team -7. 64.
This is the type of game that BYU would be motivated for no reason, solely because USC is still in the national spotlight for some reason,
right?
And BYU still feels like it's getting no respect. This is the type of game BYU, I think, is not going to overlook. I think they're going to try to make a statement because it is going to be an out-of-conference. Well, everything's an out-of-conference game because they're an independent. But you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. It's against the USC team that is, for some reason, still getting media coverage, even though they haven't been good in years. I think BYU buries this team. I mean, what is there to like? They just lost to UCLA by 30.
They've lost 4 of their last 5 by 15 points or more, Scott.
What'd they give up to UCLA? 63? 62?
Almost doubled them up. 62-33 was that one.
Can they stop the run? No. Can they stop the pass? No. Is their passing game good? Not really. I don't know what there is to like about this team. I'll go with BYU.
I think you have to. I mean, they're gonna go out and try to throw it around the yard. And this has been a really good BYU pass defense. I think they do a nice job. They give up some yards to Virginia. Well, fuck, congratulations. That's what Virginia does. But they still beat them by 27. So even though you're giving up 500, almost 600 yards, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you can't be stopped.
A lot of that was also in the first half. BYU's defense did clamp down in the fourth quarter of that game.
Yeah, true. I find nothing to like about this USC team. This looks like a team that's quit.
They have quit.
When you can't make a better showing in your rivalry game than they did last week against UCLA, fuck you. I'm done with you. Give me BYU, and I'll take the take it all.
I got to take the over.
You taking the over there?
They gave up 62 to UCLA. I get UCLA plays up tempo. I get it, but
right.
BYU might walk into 45.
Yeah. USC defenses, and then BYU takes their foot off the gas. I don't hate that. Somebody asked earlier about this one. We knew we'd get to it. It's Penn State headed to Michigan to take on Michigan State. I got to pick them.
This is the second most interesting line of the entire weekend.
Yep. Agreed. 51.5 is the total. This would
Franklin, huge contract.
10 years. They don't want him to go anywhere, buddy.
I don't think they want to win a championship for 10 years too.
Hey, it's Franklin. Fucking up for 10 more years. He'll probably last 5 of that. They'll buy him out.
I really don't know what the expectations are for Penn State because They view themselves as being a team that's a fringe
A
college
consistent,
football playoff contender.
consistent fourth place in the Big Ten. Is that what
And then you
they're
extend
going
Franklin for 10 years. So I don't really know what you think of your program.
Yeah.
Apparently, you are fine with being third fiddle in the Big Ten or fourth fiddle, but
Yeah.
I really don't know why they're favored here. I get Michigan State got embarrassed
Now, what do you
by
got?
Ohio State.
I got to pick them. We got an update on that.
I thought it was around -1, -1.5.
Well, like I said, I did these earlier yesterday, so
I'm pretty sure it's 1.5 now for Penn State.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Michigan State because Ohio State, I think, is a world beater, and they got embarrassed. Maybe they'll bounce back. What is there really to like about Penn State? I don't think this is a very good team, and we've seen them struggle really against any type of competition. You lose in Illinois at home in 9 overtimes. You just going through the motions. You lost to Michigan, the game you probably should have won. But I'm going Michigan State because even though it seems like a trap line, they're at home, and I do think that plays a factor. You?
Yeah, I just again
My
I feel like,
system is not prepared to handle an unranked road favorite, by the way.
no, that's a weird one there.
That's an odd thing that you don't see that often.
It does seem a bit trappy, and it seems and the money coming in on Penn State, Scott, that feels sharp. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it does. It definitely feels sharp, but I just don't like this Penn State team.
No, I agree. I think this Michigan State team is better than they showed last week. I think this is a team that really needs to wash that taste out of their mouth.
Oh no, we lost to the second best team in the country as a 19.5 point underdogs. Yeah, they got buried. They were supposed to get buried.
Yep, agreed. As far as the total goes, 51.5.
I'm going the over. I have serious question marks about this Michigan State pass defense.
So bored. You and I are just doing all the same picks.
I can't take the under. Michigan State can't stop the pass.
I understand. I get it. I think Walker's just going to run down their throat too.
No, he had a bad week last week, so he kind of could use a bounce back.
Well, let's see if they're going to continue to fuck up the week up there in Oregon as for the Ducks, as their basketball team is horrific. They're laying 7 at home to the Beavs. I'm worried about the Beavs, Scott. 60.5 is the total there. Penn State.
Who would win, a Beaver or a Duck?
The duck can fly. I'm gonna like the animal that can fly.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the animal that can build dams. I'll take the Beavers plus the 7. I don't know what the spot is for Oregon. I get it's a rivalry game. I get that you got embarrassed last week. This team was competing for a spot in the college football playoff, and then it had one of the biggest no-shows I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
At no point in the game were they close. They got buried. Oregon State has been flying under the radar all year long. And I do think that they are live in this game because I don't know what the incentive is for Oregon here. What are you going for? You had all your eggs in the
rivalry game. That's it.
I get it, but you had all your eggs in the college football playoff basket, and you embarrassed yourself on national television.
Well, they should have listened to our show because we at no time did we ever think they were going to be in the playoffs.
Correct. And they were 3.5 point underdogs against Utah. Now they return home. But I'm going to take the Beavers because I do think this is the type of loss that lingers. When you don't lose in a heartbreaking fashion, you get buried from start to finish. And I do think they're in the middle of a bit of an identity crisis right now.
This is a Beavers team that's won just one road game. And granted, it was against USC.
Oh, this team isn't an amazing team by any means.
No.
I'm just hoping that the letdown spot, or at least some of the negative emotions, carry over into this game. So I just don't want to lay 7 with Oregon. That's kind of my logic.
Had a nice win against Arizona State last week, did Oregon State. That was really kind of their first signature win, other than that inexplicable win over Utah, which has cost the Utes a lot, it looks like. But I'm going to go the other way, Scott. Just basically, this is almost a coin flip for me. I just think we need to have a little tension in the room. So I'm going to take Oregon's minus the 7.
I heard you're bad at coin flips.
I can't. I'm about 45%.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the total goes,
over.
I think so. I don't think either one of these teams are going to play much defense. Unlike Oregon State on the road. And I don't like Oregon in that spot. Don't get me wrong. All right, Scott. And here's the one we talk about earlier, and this is going to be the Egg Bowl. Somebody asked us about that. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Mississippi State, the lower ranked team, they are at home. They are throwing 1.5 to the Rebs.
Thursday game.
This is the Thanksgiving game, so I think this is going to compete probably with the end of the Lions game. So when that game starts to suck, is Goff playing? I don't.
He's expected to play.
I think he's back. Yeah.
After Boyle's performance last week, they'll drag him out on crutches if he has to.
Yeah, not good. As far as this game goes, Scott, I know Mississippi State, very trendy pick right now. Everybody loves the cowbells. Everybody loves the fighting fucking cowbells on this one. I don't know at this point if I trust.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Well, cowbell.
I'll take Mississippi Valley State. I'll take not Mississippi Valley State. I'll take Mississippi State.
You will never.
I'll take the cowbells. This team's been playing really well. Ole Miss defensively has had moments. Corral still looks well below 100%. And the offense really didn't look that great against Vandy.
Yeah.
I find that a concern.
Clear look ahead.
I think it could be, but we've had issues with the offense for the last couple of weeks with the injuries that they've had. I'm going to go with the cowbells here.
Okay, very nice. I know there's some excitement out there as the UConn game went over.
I'm actually watching it right now. It's a 1-point game with 1:20 to go.
But it still went over.
The game is over, but the game's not finished.
No, it went over the total.
No, I know. That's why I said it's over, but not finished.
No, I thought you said like I was all right, Spider.
Oh. Roger, what's our vector, Victor?
I've got the kind of the secret about this Ole Miss team is you think about Corral and you think it's a team that just throws it around the yard. They're actually a run first team. They are top 10 in the nation in running the football. And the problem with that is Mississippi State defends the run pretty damn well. I like this Ole Miss team. It's another team that they've been good to us. But I think Mississippi State is going to have the answer for them on defense. I think we're going to hear way too much fucking cowbell. I've got Mississippi State there laying the short price at home as well.
I think this game's a toss-up, so when in doubt, take the home team in the rivalry game.
I put my pants on just like you, but after my pants on, I make gold records. That's I can actually do a little better Christopher Walken.
That's not a bad Walken impression.
Not awful, but
that's the best I can do.
More cowbell. I got a fever, baby. Only prescription is more cowbell. That's fucking so funny. Okay, anyway. Mississippi State there, as far as the total goes, pick your trend, Scott. Ole Miss is at 5 straight unders. Mississippi State has 4 straight overs.
I'm taking the under, and a bit of a hot take here. I think that this game will be a physical one. I think it'll be close. I think Mississippi State wins this game 27-24. Give me a close rivalry game.
I think it's correlated there for sure. They
can't get into a track meet with Kiffin. I don't see that happening.
Well, the other thing is Mississippi State offense is really starting to kind of come alive.
Oh, they're humming. I just think that the Ole Miss defense has definitely looked better than it has in the past. So I kind of like the direction these defenses are heading in. I said it's a bit of a hot take, but I think you'll see a competitive game that's close throughout. I'll go with the under.
Okay, very good. Cincinnati Cincinnati does not have to win big. They just have to win. They're in.
Survive in advance, man.
They just have to survive in advance. That's exactly right.
Because you have to remember, they're competing now with Notre Dame as the main threat. Notre Dame only has 1 game left. Cincinnati has 2, including one most likely against a ranked opponent. So if they beat East Carolina and then Houston, a ranked Houston team, they're going dancing.
Yes, agreed. Baylor Bears against Texas Tech. Baylor Bears laying 14 at home to Tech. 51.5 is the total right there.
Dub Bears.
Are you buying this Bears team?
I have to. They burned me the one time I backed them against TCU, but they're very, very good at home. I can't understate how good they are at home. And Tech offensively was useless against Oklahoma State last week. Now, Oklahoma State, good defense. I'm aware of that. But Tech had the very nice win against Iowa State. Iowa State, we've roasted all year long for not being a very good football team.
Not a very
But
good team either.
they're not a good basketball team either. That is true. But I'm going to go with Baylor. I do think that in a must-win game, because they're still competing for the spot in the Big 12 title game, I do think Baylor is going to take care of business here.
Yeah, they've been like you said, they've been a very good team at home. They've got wins over Texas, Oklahoma, and BYU at home. That's a pretty impressive resume. They were able to take care of business against Kansas State last week. Say what you want about Kansas State, but they are a 7-win team so far, and we've got them on Bet the Farm, by the way. So David the Italian says he's a new guy. Be kind. We're pretty much kind. We're pretty much kind to everybody. Yeah, welcome aboard, bud. Thanks for stopping by. As far as the total goes, I think that's a little trickier. I've got Baylor here. I think just like you, right, at home.
Yeah, I'm going Baylor. I'm going with the under. I think this defense is good enough to limit Tech because Tech's passing game has really been non-existent all year long. It's been a run-first team, which is a bit of a surprise.
83 yards.
Baylor.
What are you talking about?
Wait, what?
He had 83 yards last week. What are you talking about?
The quarterback kept throwing the ball out of bounds. But I do think that you'll see a lower scoring game. Baylor can run the ball. They can throw it. They're balanced. But it's really just fading this Tech offense. I'll go with the under.
I'd rather play a team total under. You know what? I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to play the over 51.5 there. It's about a 50-50 ball for me.
Okay, that's fair. I do think Baylor wins the game handily, though.
Okay, very good. Oklahoma State -3.5 at Oklahoma. Bedlam, Scott. It's fucking bedlam down there in Stillwater.
Well, something happened last week that is unprecedented. I picked Oklahoma to cover a spread as a favorite, and they covered as a favorite. Isn't that crazy?
Not see that coming at all. You're going to press your luck? You're going to make it 2 in a row?
Well, this is the tricky part, because you might have the rare situation where if Oklahoma wins this week, you get the immediate rematch clause because they play again in the Big 12 title game. So Oklahoma State is going for the season elimination of Oklahoma at home, which of course is significantly sweeter. Oklahoma needs to win. Then they need to beat Oklahoma State again or Baylor, assuming Baylor wins against Tech. Question is, these games are always close. Do I want to lay 3.5 with Oklahoma State? No. I'm going to hold my nose, take Oklahoma. Am I thrilled about it? No. Should you try this at home? No. Would I actually bet this in a million years? No. But I'll take Oklahoma.
All right. Well, I think you've laid out quite a good case there, bud. You know what? This Oklahoma State team, I don't want to get in the way, man. They have.
I would take whatever team was getting points in a game of this magnitude because of the rivalry and the history of these teams. I think it'll be a 3-point game.
Okay. All right. I'm going the other way. I'm taking Oklahoma State. This is a team that's been playing good football. They have covered 9 straight, buddy. That's
what they're good. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I'm looking at here. Is Spencer Rattler going to play in this one, Scott?
Maybe, but
is the experiment
for Oklahoma's sake, I hope not.
Well, I can't get behind this Oklahoma defense. I think they're a step behind where they normally are. Again, Oklahoma State's been very good, especially at home. They've been able to put points on the board. I think they take care of business, and I will play the over in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, very good. And we differ on which Oklahoma we like. You like Oklahoma, I like State.
But actually, give me the under.
What?
I'm going to flip it. Give me the under.
Okay. That's a solid pick. Rationale?
Oklahoma's offense didn't look good last week, but the defense actually stood up a little bit. And I know for a fact Oklahoma State's defense is very good. So I think you'll see a close rivalry game. Give me the under.
Very good. David the Italian said he won his first 3 college basketball games, Akron and Yale, each -5. And lastly, Fate. What does that say? You got that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I think somebody could type like I do. UConn and Auburn going to OT. Scott, you got a dog in that fight?
I watched it. I'm going to go with Auburn if I had to lean, just because I think on the interior they got a little bit more size, And I do think that UConn is a solid team. Auburn's the more athletic team. So I do think Auburn should be able to get into the paint a little bit easier, get to the line a bit more. Give me Auburn.
Trouble there.
Well, they're in overtime,
So
so it resets, doesn't it?
Anybody out? No, not if you're out.
Oh, you mean just the actual players? I really haven't been watching much of the game, but I do think that Auburn, after making the furious comeback, should have the momentum in this spot.
It doesn't reset either. If you're in the bonus, you're still in the bonus when you go.
No, I was saying it doesn't reset, so that's the point. They're both in the bonus, so they're even.
Okay, no, I meant individually. I mean, if anybody's on the verge of getting fouled.
Yeah, that for that part, I'm not sure about. I literally watched like the last minute of regulation.
All right. Notre Dame -19 heading to Palo Alto to take on Stanford.
What is there to like about Stanford besides the weather?
Nothing. It's dreadful. It's just a dreadful football team. Notre Dame, I hate to say, but they've been playing good lately. Stanford's lost and failed to cover 6 straight. When you're losing by 30 to California, I can't take you seriously as a football team. I'm sorry.
I agree.
They were good for me last week, covering a big number. I think they're going to be good to me again. Give me Notre Dame -19 over Stanford.
Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame. The total's the tricky part because I don't think Stanford can score.
Right.
But Notre Dame scored 55 against Georgia Tech. So, what's the total? What'd you say again?
52.
Give me the over because Notre Dame might score 55.
Okay, I've got the over as well there. Look at Denver and Air Force putting up 72 in the first half.
I'm proud of them.
After we roasted them at 122 as the total. So, all right, now Scott, we're into the elite, the Final Four, if you will. Cincinnati -14, heading to East Carolina. Cincinnati finally showed the team that we saw at the beginning of the season and all year last year, as they completely showed up last week. Scott, you knew you were playing with fire there, and we were, and eventually we got burned. So, are they back? Are they going to go out there and roll, or are they going to be looking ahead to Houston next week and go play with their fucking food again like they've been doing 4 out of the 5 games this month?
I don't know if you can really be looking ahead when you are on the verge of being screwed over by the committee, but I do think this East Carolina team is underrated, so I'm actually going to take the points. They looked really good against SMU. Cincinnati did. But East Carolina offensively has been a solid team. I like the over in this game, but I do think they'll move the ball. I think Cincinnati will win. But the defense, even though they looked really good against SMU, has still been hit or miss. The spread does seem a little bit high to me.
You know what? I'm changing my mind. I think they're back.
I hope they're back.
Give me the Bearcats.
What'd you say the number was again?
14. 57.
Yeah, I'll take the points.
Okay.
If I can get 14.5, I'll take the points.
All right, very good. Alabama, the Iron Bowl, 19.5 at Auburn. 55 is the number.
What's Auburn playing for? You just lost to South Carolina.
Bo Nix Appreciation Day.
Bo Nix didn't even play last week. They used Finley instead.
I know. Is he out this week?
I'm not fully sure, but I don't know if it matters. I'm going to go with Bama. The defense was a no-show against Arkansas. They threw for about 560 passing yards. I don't think Auburn's going to have any answers defensively because I think that Alabama's skill position guys are just too fast. So I'm going to go with Alabama because that Auburn offense is not very good, and you're not going to stop Bama for a full 60 minutes. So give me the Crimson Tide.
Bo Nix out for the season.
Yeah, that's not ideal because Finley's not exactly a great thrower.
Nope. I've got to go Bama there as well. I'm really looking for a spot to play Auburn, but it ain't going to be without
same here,
Bo.
but I can't.
I got to play the over there too.
Unless the argument you have, even though it's a rivalry game, that Bama has the Georgia game up next. You know, if they beat Georgia, they're going to the playoff. If they lose, they're out anyway. So as long as they win in this game, they don't really need style points. But I'm going to go with Alabama anyway. I think that Saban's annoyed at how vulnerable they looked against Arkansas. I think they'll come out stronger.
Total.
It's tough because the question is, do I think Auburn's going to do anything with Finley? I'm going to go under.
Okay. That's what I played. I got the under as well. Bronco Devil says take Cincinnati team total over. Yeah, that's another way to play it.
I don't mind that either. But
28, about 35, 35 and a half, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I like the full game over, so yeah, I don't mind that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Ohio State laying 7.5, headed to the big house, Scott.
Both these teams won by about 90 last week, but one played Maryland, the other team played a top 10 opponent.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I'm taking Ohio State.
Can anybody slow down this Ohio State team?
I made the argument a month and a half ago. This is, I think, a top 3 team in the country. Now we know for a fact they're a top 2 team in the country. I think they're better than Alabama. But they own Michigan. They own Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take Michigan. I get that they beat Maryland. I'm proud of you. Ohio State's defense actually looked okay for once, and the offense is crazy. They got the Heisman favorite. I think Ohio State might walk in and score 50, which sounds crazy. Is it really that crazy? No, it's not. So I'm going to go with Ohio State because I think that they're just going to put up too many points.
Okay, very good. I've got Ohio State as well. I don't know how you watch that team play against Michigan State last week and go, yeah, I'm going to fade those fuckers.
You can't. The team's a bunch of lunatics.
Would it be a complete stunner if Michigan won? No.
A cover would not be surprising. I actually think a win would be rather shocking because that would involve Harbaugh exercising every demon that he has.
If you'd asked me 6 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, this might be the year for Michigan to break through, but a lot has changed since the end of September. So
I'm just saying, I know that it was in Michigan State. They lost. Ohio State beat that team by 49. So I got to go with Ohio State.
I've got the over there as well. What do you got?
I can't take the under with Ohio State.
Can't do it. I already had you marked down for the over. I don't have to change anything. Buckeyes can easily put up 50. They get off the bus with 35 in their pocket. Speaking of 35, that's how many of the dogs are favored over Georgia Tech. The Ramblin' Wreck earning their name, Scott. Look like they might have a little bit of something there early in the season, at least on the path to respectability. That has gone by the wayside. 35 is a lot. Is it enough?
Is it a lot? They lost by 55 to Notre Dame last week.
I know.
They didn't score. I'll go with Georgia because I don't think Georgia Tech's going to score more than 1 touchdown in this game.
No, any team they played that had a hint of a defense, they struggled. They put up 17 against Vatech, nothing, like you said, against Notre Dame. And by the way, Georgia, we all know about their defense. Offense, not too shitty, Scott. They've put up 148 points in their last 4 games. That's good for 39 and a half, roughly, neighborhood. So they're scoring some points right now, my brother. So I see nothing to like about this Georgia Tech team that's lost 5 straight, failed to cover 4 of their last 5. Georgia, they just keep rolling on, baby. Give me the Bulldogs there as well. As far as the total goes,
I got to go under because I just said I don't think Georgia Tech's going to score more than a touchdown.
Playing it under, I see a 49-0 there, something in that line right there.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll have Georgia to win at 0. All right, bud. Well, now it's and then there was one. One segment left. We have 3 picks, and you know what time it is? It's that time.
Get ready for our 5,000-star whale play, Fade the Public Shark's 1 million unit lock of the century.
All right, buddy. Well, you finally are able to say it. So go ahead.
Losers walk.
There it is. Losers walk, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off the week with Miami of Florida. I have faded this team successfully lately, and I'm going to continue to do it. That is the Duke Blue Devils. Miami laying 21.5. Yes, I hate Miami. I've roasted them all year long, but this Duke team is next generation terrible. Cutcliffe, if he ain't on his way out, I don't know what you got to do to get fired as a coach. Give me Miami minus 21.5 there.
Okay. For me, I'm going to start off with Notre Dame. Minus 18.5 at minus 110 on BetMGM at Stanford. We talked about it briefly, but I actually have some numbers that I was saving for this portion of the show. Notre Dame has won each of the last 3 games by at least 25. beat Georgia Tech by 55 last week. Meanwhile, Stanford has lost 6 in a row. Each of the last 3 losses have been by at least 21 points. And this is the final regular season game for the Fighting Irish. No conference title game, obviously. So I do think they will try to make a statement by beating this team senselessly, by trying to make a good final impression for the committee. I think Notre Dame wins this game by arguably 4 touchdowns. I think this game gets ugly very quickly.
Okay, very good. I hate to tell you, that's exactly the same play I had.
I think you kind of have to. I looked at the line. I'm just going, how is Stanford not lose by 3+ touchdowns here?
No, you've got the quintessential good team on one side and a bad team that has nothing to play for on the other side. You have a motivated good team and an unmotivated bad team. It seems like a no-brainer to me. Okay.
Do you want to add any other points, or is that the only point you're going to stick with?
No, between us breaking it down and you breaking down your reasons. I mean,
I feel like we have the same reasons.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have one really good team and one shitty team, and I'm going to take the good team to cover.
So the second one is going to be a team total. It's going to be in the South Carolina-Clemson game. I'm taking South Carolina team total under 16.5 at -130 on DraftKings. Clemson, the offense has been a mess for most of the season. The defense has been fantastic. The Tigers are allowing just 16.36 points per game, which is the 8th fewest in the league, or in the nation. South Carolina has faced 2 top 10 defenses so far this season, scored 13 points against Georgia, scored 14 points against A&M. Clemson is also averaging 3.55 sacks per game, which is the 3rd most in the nation, while South Carolina is allowing 2.55 sacks per game, which ranks tied for 91st in the nation. In other words, I don't think South Carolina is going to be able to protect the quarterback. I think Clemson will generate pressure early and often. And South Carolina historically has scored less than 11 points in 3 of the last 4 meetings. Simply put, for 16.5, you basically need 2 touchdowns from South Carolina. Do I think they're going to score 2 touchdowns in this game? No. I think they'll finish with 10. Give me South Carolina team total under 16.5.
All right, very solid. And I got you down.
A little bit of juice there, but I don't mind it.
Okay. Yeah, especially since you're not. All right. My last pick is going to be the ever popular Kent State and the Miami of Ohio. We're going to play the over. We've got that number made at 65.
An over in a Kent State game? Bold call.
Well, I don't see you making it, so yeah, I'm going to take it. We've talked a lot about this Kansas State team, and they are the perfect over team because they have a good offense and they have absolutely no defense at all. Now, they did shut out Akron last week. Congratulations. You must feel quite a sense of accomplishment. But before that, I'm going to read some of these numbers. They gave up 54 to Central Michigan, 47 to Northern Illinois, 27 to Ohio, 64 to Western Michigan, and 38 to that dreadful Buffalo team. And again, they're probably better on offense than they are bad on defense, as they have scored 30 points or more in all of their conference games, except for putting up 27 in their first game against Bowling Green. I think this number is just a tick too low. I've got this more in the neighborhood of 61.5. I'm going to play the over 65 in the Kent State Miami of Ohio game.
Well, just another point in favor of the over. Both these teams are competing with each other for a spot in the conference title game. So everybody's going to be playing, all hands on deck, so you don't have to worry about a lack of motivation for both teams offensively in this spot. So yeah, anytime Kent State's involved, it's pretty difficult taking under whenever they're playing.
It really is.
Looking at the last one, I'm going to a fade of mine that worked out last week. I am fading FIU, which means I'm taking Southern Miss minus 10 at -115 on DraftKings. Couple reasons why. Every other book has 10.5, and 10's a key number, so I'll take the push there. But Southern Miss actually looked good last week. Beat Louisiana Tech by 16 points on the road. The funny part is that they didn't really have a quarterback because everyone got injured or sucked. So Southern Miss decided, who should play quarterback? Frank Gore's son, who plays running back. Let's throw him there behind quarterback. And it worked. They scored 30-something points. They might have found something. But FIU is easily a bottom 5 team in all of FBS. You're going through the numbers, 0-7 in conference play. Each loss has been by at least 12 points. They've been outscored in their last 4 games, 184-41. And FIU, once again, will most likely be without its leading rusher, Devontae Price. It's a sole fate of FIU. When you're down 35 at the half to North Texas in a home game, that's not a good look. Southern Miss is not a good team, but they did pick up a nice win last week. I do think that'll carry over. FIU is giving up 40 points to everybody, and they can't move the ball. Southern Miss's defense is actually not that bad, so I think that FIU will struggle. I think if Southern Miss gets to 27 points, they'll cover. I think they'll get to 30-something. Give me Southern Miss -10.
I'm not a good team. I'm not a smart team.
But I know what a good team is.
All right, just to recap, I've got Miami of Florida fading Duke -21.5. I've got Notre Dame fading Stanford 18.5. And I've got the Miami of Ohio, Kent State over 65.
So my 3, I got Notre Dame -18.5 at -110 on BetMGM. I have South Carolina team total under 16.5 at -130 on DraftKings. And I have Southern Miss -10 at -115 on DraftKings.
Thanks, Alvaro. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, my brother. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. There it is.
So I know that we said we're going to do it all in one show. Can we
Yes.
actually take a break? Because I kind of have to go to the bathroom.
No.
No?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go get a drink of water. You stay here. I'll come back. You go to the bathroom, and I'll yak.
This is what we're doing?
This
Okay,
is what
cool.
we're doing. This is what
Fair
we're
enough.
doing. And we're going to cut it into 3 pieces.
Okay, this is going to be really, really fun for the editing crew, so we'll see what happens here.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you guys, that's going to do it for our college show. Good luck. We're going to head back to the window, blah, 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 blah. You know all this shit. Okay. So hang around. I'm going to get a water. Then Scott's going to go. I'm going to yak at you. And then we're going to talk NFL. All right.
Cool.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Anyway, so since I'm going to be by myself here for about a couple of minutes, anyone have any questions? Any Q&A? Any games you want to talk about? Because we got some free time. Crazy Auburn game, by the way, because Auburn ended up struggling in overtime. Those 2 teams are very good, though. Those are 2 very good college basketball teams. Definitely a high-quality performance there. I see question. Q over VCU. I'll tell you what, VCU is a team that I'm not a fan of. Syracuse definitely has enough weapons to beat that VCU team. They really just can't score. No offense to the Commonwealth, but they can't score. I don't mind Syracuse in that spot, but I'll be right back.
All right, there you go. Lawrence Anthony says, thanks for sharing your truth, your sports wisdom with us, Scott and Scott. Have so much respect for your insight and everything you say. You guys are awesome. Thanks, man. It's very good. And I'll tell you what, you kind of get to see the difference in capping styles between myself and Reichel, because if you haven't noticed by now, Reichel has an absolute steel trap mind for players, for the teams and who went where. I strictly cap pretty much by the numbers. It's the opposite of how you would think. Since I'm the older guy, you think I would be like more old school and pay attention, and he would be the analytics guy. And it's really the other way around. I'm more of a numbers and trends guy, and he's more of this guy is still playing, and this guy's. I don't care about any of that. I care about the results. So it's kind of fun to see us together in just different styles of handicapping, and they've had varying success. I think he's been better than me in the NBA. I've been better than him in college basketball. He's been better than me in college football, which is weird because that's the one I like the most. And he really doesn't care about college football as much. And I've been better than him in the NFL. So there you go. Islanders over under win total for the rest of the year at 0.5. taking the under. Yeah, you're just in time back. You're just in time to see your. He's still not plugged in. You're just in time to see your Islanders get roasted. Over under.
Fine. They're not very good, so it's fine.
Over under win total for the rest of the year. Thomas Bowe says under in the 3 NFL games on Turkey Day. I don't hate that. We're going to get to it. Here we go. Like you, like I like the show a lot. I'm not much of a talker, but I like watching and hearing what you guys have to say. Excellent, Anthony. Thank you very much, brother, and happy Thanksgiving to you too. Let's rock and roll, Scotty. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Here we go. We're into hour number 3. Woo! Let's do it, baby. All right, guys, welcome to the NFL show. This is going to be week 12 for the NFL. We're pretty excited to be here. It's the day before Thanksgiving. Scott got a lot of got the 3 traditional Thanksgiving games coming up. Are you excited for a little bit of football, a little bit of NFL?
Yeah, I love watching the Lions when I wake up in the morning.
The Lions and Bears.
Oh, for the love of God. Can we actually have decent games for once? Can we throw the Lions off of Thanksgiving?
There's been some talk of that, man. There's been some talk of let's go fast, guys. It's the 3rd hour. No shit. Thanks, Joan. Yes, let's go fast. Making my day at the office. Excellent, G Money. We're having a pretty good day at the office too. I'm having some fun. All right, let's get rolling. Oh, we'll talk about last week. You and I both had a good week last week as I went 1-0. I had the Baltimore Chicago under. I also had the first half under as a premium, and fucking all over that. They scored 6 points in the first half, and they 22 total.
Yeah, you took it before Lamar wasn't playing.
Correct.
So
Correct.
It turned into a rocking chair.
Yes, it really did. And then you also you rode one of your personal favorites. You had the Jets team total under 20.5. So that takes me to 6-3-1 on the season. Takes you to 5-5.
Clawing back.
I just became a premium subscriber on Winners and Wonders website. Excellent news, Lawrence. Thanks very much, brother. Let's go out there and make some money. Should be working, but making a lot of second half.
The G Money, that's the point. You make the bets now, then you do the work, then you check back after, and you see how much bonus money you either won or lost.
Have you ever been in an office?
In an actual office?
Have you ever had a job? If you're like what's your work background like before college?
Before college, I was working in a warehouse or two, so I would help pack and ship some stuff. So I spent some time in the boss's office handling some computer stuff and some filing, etc. But for my own office, no, I never had one of those.
Okay, all right, good thing. It is pretty much you pretty much nailed it, buddy. For somebody that's never, that's why I was curious, because somebody that's never spent time in an office, that's exactly how you do it. You make your bets, you do a little work. If the boss happens to walk by, you got to have that spreadsheet up there.
Not gonna lie, when I was in that set office, I was live betting tennis spreads back when I was in like high school.
God bless you. God bless you. Someday it's not gonna be during our NFL show in the 3rd hour, but you're gonna tell the tennis story about how you got kicked out of a tennis tournament.
Okay.
You're banned. He's banned. Scott's banned from fucking professional tennis.
Well, from one spot, but whatever.
I just found this out like 2 weeks ago, so we're gonna talk about that. Okay, so let's get going with Thanksgiving, guys, because yeah, you're right. We're gonna rock and roll this bitch right now. Bears -3 heading to Detroit. That's a 9 o'clock in the morning game. I don't know what it is. 11 o'clock. 41.5 is the total there, Scott. I know a lot of people think that Detroit has this sway, this mystique on Thanksgiving Day. I would just like to give you a couple of updates. Overall, since the merger, Detroit is 22-27 on Thanksgiving Day. That starts with 1970 against the Raiders. And since 2003, Detroit is 4-13 on Turkey Day. So it's a good time to fade the Fighting Forward, Scott. And I'm going to do just that. Obviously, the Bears are a team in turmoil. Nagy, is he gone? Is he not gone? Is he? This is a terrible Lions team. Give me the Bears -3.
Give me Andy Dalton for fun. There's no real reason to, besides the fact that you're hoping the Bears will lose because maybe they'll fire Nagy for once because they should. But I can't take the Lions, man. I understand that Goff is back, so your quarterback play shouldn't be totally anemic, except for the fact that Goff is also totally anemic, so there's really no point. Pace should have been fired years ago as well. He's an abysmal GM. But I'm going to go with the Bears. This seems like the type of game that Chicago would win solely because it would allow Nagy to keep his job for the rest of the season.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Chicago.
Yep. Eric Nesbitt says he's a huge Bear fan. He's taking the Lions and the candy. Said Nagy can't be trusted. No, I agree, but I don't think anybody on this fucking Lions team can be trusted either.
I like the under.
No, I think, the Bears, they're not a good football team.
The Bears are not good. The Lions are not good. But I do think that the Bears are the more talented overall team, which is realistically choosing between
They gave
two really, really awful teams, but
two
Chicago's
teams
better.
Two teams that should have beaten the Ravens.
That is true.
Had the Ravens got beat on almost the last play of the game.
But my question for you is,
yes,
if the Bears did not choke against Baltimore last week, what would the spread be?
5.5, 6.
The fact that I agree with you means that there's value on Chicago because of the fact that since they blew the game late last week, you might have saved another 2 points. So I'll take the Bears.
Okay, good enough. Yeah. And it's in no way an endorsement of the Bears because
they're awful.
We both hate Nagy and think that he should have been gone before probably last season. So here's where it gets good, Scott. Here's your team as they another team that always hosts the Thanksgiving Day game, usually a little better action. Not necessarily this year. They think they found some magic and then they suck. Absolutely true.
Instead, they found Trubisky.
Instead, they found Trubisky. Cowboys and the Raiders coming to town, Scott. This Raiders team has not looked good at all the last couple of weeks. So what do we got here?
Well, before the Ruggs thing, I said it every week. I thought this Raiders team wasn't very good.
Oh, by the way, Dallas hasn't looked very good for the last 2 weeks either. Enjoy.
Last 2 weeks or two of the last three?
Or 2 of the last 3. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, they killed Atlanta somewhere in the middle.
They had that sandwich game against Atlanta coming out of their bye.
I'm taking Dallas because according to reports, it seems like CeeDee Lamb is going to play, which is definitely a good sign. Cooper's going to be out, which isn't ideal, but I do think the Raiders are just a complete fade. There's nothing to like about this team. You can talk about the defense, which I've roasted all year long, and they were not very good for the last couple of weeks. Now, last week in Cincinnati was a little bit misleading because the defense was good for about 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters, and then the team fell apart in the fourth quarter.
Offense couldn't stay on the field.
Yeah, the offense can't do anything because Ruggs at least took the ceiling off.
Right.
So you can provide more space underneath. Now you don't have that. The Cowboys have been very good in Jerry World with the exception of the Broncos game. Give me the Cowboys. I'm just going to keep fading the Raiders because this team is just really bad.
Yeah, this is a team that's averaged just 14 points a game over their last 3, and they are getting run out of the fucking building. They got beat by 19 against Cincinnati. Chiefs beat them by 27. The Giants beat them at home. That's a bad look right there. Plus, they're in a bad travel spot here. I think the Cowboys bounce back. I like Joan said it exactly right. Dallas bounces back after that showing last week against KC. I think they're going to have a little better time of it. Bronco Devil got to go. Said Thanksgiving, got to get Thanksgiving dinner in the oven. There you go, brother. Enjoy Bronco Devil. Always one of my favorites, man. Have a great Thanksgiving for sure. Erica Taylor likes to play the overs. So far we've given her no overs yet. As far as this one goes, Scott, I can't count on the Raiders offense to do their part. I got to play the under 51 here.
I got to like the under 2 because the Cowboys offense has also sputtered a little bit. So I think if you want to take an over in one of the afternoon games, the Cowboys game's your best bet. But the Cowboys defense is a bit underrated. It's been playing well lately, and the offense has really not looked that sharp. So I'm going to take the under.
And now the bonus Thanksgiving game, Scott. This is going to be the Bills -6 at the Saints. Go Saints. G Money says Raiders and Cowboys over.
I don't mind that. I'm just going with the under.
Yeah, I just don't have enough faith in the Raiders offense, although they will likely have to throw the ball a ton.
Just remember, it's Thanksgiving, which means that all 3 of these games count as Thursday night football or Thursday football. Bet the under, take a nap. Isn't that the move for Thursday night football this season?
That's what they say.
Tyron Smith might be back for this game, Matthew. They're not officially sure, but it seems like he's progressing quite well.
Saints catching 6 at home. Is this a good spot for him here, Scott? And people going to be fired up down there in the Big Easy?
I'm really torn on this one because Buffalo is a team that I went from really liking to despising very quickly because I can't trust this damn team.
Didn't take long. 2 out of 3 weeks, just horrible performances.
But New Orleans was useless against Philly for 3 quarters,
Yeah.
and then Simeon put up an all-time garbage time performance. So that game was closer than it actually was. They got buried. Oh boy. Give me Buffalo.
I've got to go with the Bills too. I was really hoping you were going to go the other way. I
You can make a case either way. I hate
Mhm.
this damn Buffalo team, but the Saints I don't think are very good.
No, the Saints without famous Jameis lost 3 straight, failed to cover 2 of their last 3. They did have that late cover against Tennessee.
Thomas, you're not alone. Nobody can figure out the Bills.
No, everybody was ready to hand them the AFC Championship about a month ago, and then they lost. Then they lost to Tennessee, and they bounced back, and then they fucking had that inexplicable loss to Jacksonville.
We're gonna end up with damn Chiefs Patriots AFC title game. And
There you go, baby. Let's go.
But that's where we're headed right now.
All right. As far as this game goes, I can't. God, it's 2 teams I really don't like. I'll take the Bills. And as far as the total goes,
I'm going with the over. Simeon's put up numbers in garbage time or not, and it isn't a dome, so weather's not a factor. I have question marks about both defenses. Give me the over.
all right. I'll fade you. I'll take the under here. It's a 50-50 ball for me. I'll take a slight lean on the under. Hey,
3 games we're thrilled at, by the way, for Thursday.
Speaking of the Patriots, onto the Sunday games as they host the Tennessee Titans. Patriots minus 6.5, 44.5 is the number. Well, Scott, you said it best, as we expect to see the Patriots and the Chiefs once again in the AFC title game. Anything to like about this Tennessee squad?
I heard Graceland's very nice.
Going to Graceland.
Does that count? That's more about the state of Tennessee, but close enough.
Yes. This New England team.
I mean, last week was a clear look at spot, and there's nothing else to say. You got New England on deck, and you played with their food. You didn't even play with your food. You just straight up were just enjoying, savoring every bite of it until you realize that you got food poisoning, because that was one of the worst performances I've seen all year. Awful. That was just awful. But clear look at spot. Tennessee should look better. Unfortunately, Adrian Peterson's not around to save them because he got cut. So I'm going with New England. The defense is great. You had the extra prep time because they played on Thursday the week prior. New England just has the formula to just win a bunch of hideous football games by double digits. So I expect New England to win this game in a hideous fashion by double digits. Give me New England in the under.
Run the football. Run the football. That has been the success formula for New England, as they have reeled off 5 straight wins, and they have been able to run the football successfully in each of those games. Tennessee has a little better run defense than what they faced in Atlanta last week, but I don't think it's good enough. And Tennessee can absolutely be gotten through the air if you can soften them up. I see nothing to like at all about this Patriots team. I'll take the Patriots minus the 6.5.
I think you mean this Titans team.
I mean, about this Titans team, yeah. Like I hate the Patriots, but I like the way they're playing football. If they're going to make money for me, okay, fair enough.
I hate them, but damn it, I respect them. Give me the Patriots and the under.
Okay, I'll take the under there. I mean, I
don't mind a teaser there if you want to tease the Patriots with the under in that game.
Okay. All right, I'll take the over 44.5. Jets, Texans minus 2.5, 44.5 is the number there. Scott, all of a sudden, this New York Jets defense is horrific. They are giving up points. They are bleeding points. They get Zach Wilson back. Are you excited about that?
Thrilled. The other two quarterbacks have COVID. They don't have a choice.
1-4 as a starter. 57.5% completion percentage. 4 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah.
The Texans team, never going to be confused with a good football team, but they do have Tyrod Taylor back in the saddle. Get it? Texans saddle. See what you did there. I'll take the Texans minus the 2.5.
This line looks like a trap line to me because the Jets are so bad and the Texans just beat the Titans. I feel like they should be favored by a lot more than 2.5. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah.
Based on recency bias?
The Texans, though, so. I get it. Matthew Torvik says 7-6 Bills on a mix extra point.
The annoying part for me is that I found the ultimate fade for the pick portion because I just keep fading the Jets.
Yep.
And it just keeps working out.
Yep.
I can't do it this week because the Texans are not good enough for me to trust them. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Upset special. Give me the Jets.
Oh, look at you.
Give me the Jets. This line makes no sense. They're daring you to take Houston.
Money line there about plus 115 or so, 120.
Yeah, screw it. Give me the Jets.
All right. I'm gonna play the I'm playing the over 44.5. I don't trust.
I gotta take the over.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm taking the Jets. I'm not backing their defense.
All right, fair enough. Eagles at Giants heading to the Meadowlands. The Eagles a good team, Scott?
They are a better team than the record indicates.
Hey, Tony, take care. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Thanks for checking in. Happy Thanksgiving to you and Kim and the whole family there. Hope you have a good one, bud.
They will probably be a playoff team, which we talked about actually before we went on air. Odds for the Eagles to make the playoffs, pretty good.
You found a pretty good prop at plus 130 there with the Eagles to make the playoffs. I think that's a nice price. If you look at their schedule, they've got, what do you say? They got 2 against Washington.
They got the Giants twice, Washington twice, and the Jets.
There you go. It looks like Denver's schedule to start the season. I'm buying on this Philadelphia team.
I think you have to. Besides that, what are you buying on the Giants?
Yeah.
You replaced Jason Garrett with Freddie Kitchens. Congratulations.
Man,
I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Talk about shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. Holy shit.
You're on a short week. You have really just no quarterback of any value at all because Daniel Jones is just awful. And Jalen Hurts can run the ball. Sanders looked good last week. The defense with Slay looked good. I know he's in concussion protocol, but it seems like he's going to play. So I'm not exactly worried about that. Give me the Eagles, and I can't take an over with the Giants. I just can't do it.
All right, I'm with you. Buccaneers -3 heading to Indy to take on the Colts. 2 teams looked pretty good last week, Scott.
Yes, they did.
So Tampa Bay, short week. Does that matter to you? They're in a travel spot here.
I think it does because I feel like everybody wants to take Tampa in this spot because it's Brady. They look great against the Giants. The defense is good. All that stuff. Give me the Colts. This feels like a good spot for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just looking at I'm looking at the injury list. Of course, obviously we've got some problems because it's Wednesday and this is a Sunday game. But as of right now, everybody that matters is all questionable. Devin White, Evans, Brown, Vita Vea, all questionable. So,
but you brought it up last week. Vita Vea is the most important one for me out of that group because Tampa's run defense. We've talked about how good it's been for the last 2+ years or so. With Vea out, they've really struggled.
Yeah.
And if you want the Colts to win this game, you need Taylor to have a good game. Not necessarily a great game. That would definitely help. But at least a good game. Tampa's been vulnerable against the run. So I think the Colts are live to win this one.
Yeah, it's you don't expect it, but they had given up, like I said, a buck 40 to Chicago, buck 50 to New Orleans. So they gave up 5.1 yards per carry last week to the Giants with just 66 yards because the Giants pretty much abandoned the run when they fucking found themselves behind, but they didn't exactly stone the run without Vita Vea. So I'll take the Colts at home. I've been undervaluing this Colts team the whole season. And
this is just one of those lines. The public's going to slam Tampa.
Yeah,
I think it's Brady, and he's only laying 3. And I feel like it reminds me a lot of the Saints game that we had earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good spot for the Colts. Buccaneers on a short week, like we said, and they're in a travel spot there. I think the Colts are going to be fired up. It's an interconference game. I don't think the Buccaneers care that much about it. They're pretty much going to coast to the South title there. I'll take the Colts, and I will play the under in that game.
The total, I think, is the tricky part here because I do think Tampa's going to move the ball, and the Colts might move the ball, but they want to drain clock. What's the total in this one?
51.5.
That's right where it should be. I'm going to take the over.
Okay, thank you, Matthew, very much. Appreciate it. You're going to take the over. You're going to fade me, huh, buddy?
Yeah, we got to disagree on something.
I agree. All right. And Falcons -1 at the Jags. Holy God. That's a Clockwork Orange game right there. You know what I'm saying? Where they make you
Stop it, please, I beg you. Yeah, I get it.
I used to like to watch football. That's
Mhm.
how they broke me on football. Okay, somebody's got to win.
I'm expecting Cordarrelle Patterson to be back for this game.
Yeah, I think that's going to make the difference. Let me see what his status is here officially as of Wednesday. Congratulations, he's questionable.
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Hayden Hurst also questionable. That's a big one to get back as well.
I like the under, but for a side, I'm going to hold my nose and pick Atlanta because Jacksonville's just awful. Atlanta's not a good team at all. I hate that team too. But what were they supposed to do against New England without your best offensive player? Of course you're going to get buried. But you played on Thursday. You have an extra couple days of prep. I think that'll help out. Give me Atlanta, assuming Cordarrelle plays. But I like the under. I see like 2017, if that, 17-13, just a hideous game of football.
I think the under's an okie doke.
Okay.
I'm going to play the over. I'm going to take a little spin there. And it's more of just a hunch because that number at first glance seems really high, but this Atlanta team can score some points. The Jags defense, while has been pretty good a couple times here lately, they've still got.
They were good against the Bills. I think that was the outlier.
Yeah, exactly. They gave up 6 points to the Bills. So Panthers -1.5 against the Dolphins. Scott, I'm not buying Cam. I'm not buying the Cam narrative at all.
I'm not buying Tua either, though, so I don't know what to do with this game. Give me Miami at home.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Okay, it's an easy one.
I don't know if it's easy because I think Carolina is a team that can compete with this team because both these teams are below average. I mean, let's be real, but Miami at home did beat Baltimore. They're a decent home team. And Carolina, yes, I know Newton is fun. He can run the sweep for touchdowns and whatever, but
great story. Good dude. Glad to see him back. I think he's one of the top 100 quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he deserves to be on a roster.
If I see another breakdown of how he wakes up at 4 a.m. every day and then has his coffee at 5 a.m., I'm going to lose my damn mind. Because I've heard that Cam Newton schedule thing maybe 100 times already. I don't care what time he wakes up in the morning. Can he throw the ball more than 15 yards? No. So I'll go with Miami.
It's one of the lowest numbers on the board this week. And I think
it should be because both these teams don't have big play potential.
Yeah, I think the odds makers are telling us something. It's this one in Detroit. I'm going to play the over. I'm going to play the under on both of them.
It's an ugly game. I see it similar to the way the Carolina-Washington game ended last week. Miami will be up by 3 or so. Newton will have the ball, and they're not going to score. Give me Miami.
Wow, aren't you Mr. Optimist?
Don't you see a similar game script to last week? Because that's what I see.
It's certainly possible. It's certainly
Tua
possible.
hasn't been awful. He's just very physically unimpressive when you watch him.
I think I probably have a little more optimism about Tua than you do.
No, I'm saying he's been playing pretty well. He just has physical limitations. That was my point.
The Bills couldn't. I think couldn't score a touchdown against the Jags. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matty ice blood all over his pants.
Got spiked and he was bleeding all over the place.
Very nice.
But give me Miami in the under.
Okay, that's what I got as well. Cincinnati hosting Pittsburgh. 4.5 is the number there, Scott. This Pittsburgh team, they didn't.
I can't criticize them for what happened last week. They tried their best.
Oh fuck! I don't give a fuck about whether they tried. They beat me. That's all.
They beat you, but I'm saying they're missing everybody on defense. And the defense sucked. What am I supposed to tell you? Like Minka was out. Yep. Watt was out. Yep. They're missing everybody, and they got embarrassed because that's what's supposed to happen.
All those
your best 3 defensive guys.
And all those guys are questionable. Hayden's questionable. Watt's questionable. Fitzpatrick is questionable. And that's just fucking great news. And now Ebron's out. So
Ebron being out might be a plus because that means Freiermuth's going to play every snap, and he's clearly better than Ebron. So that doesn't really matter.
At this point in his career, you're probably right.
Yeah, but for this game, you really can't give out a good argument until you know if any of those 3 guys are playing.
Yes.
Because those 3 guys are so valuable to that defensive unit.
Yep.
Cincinnati crushed them earlier in the year. I'll go with Cincinnati. This could be the game that Pittsburgh reminds everybody that they're not going away quietly. But defensively, they got so many issues. And Cincinnati's defense, not terrible. They've been a streaky unit all year long where sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Yep.
Against Big Ben, they should have looked decent. I'm going with Cincinnati, and I'll go with the over.
They've been very good, and then they fucking give up 75 points in 2 weeks to the Jets and the Browns. And now
I'm hoping the bye allowed them to reset things, and it appears that's what happened last week.
Well, they held the Raiders to 13 points.
Yeah, and they forced a couple turnovers. I think the bye helped. So I'm hoping the time off to get healthy allowed this team to regain some focus.
Well, I'll tell you what else it did is it made Cincinnati focus on the running game more.
Mhm.
And this is for all their quality, this is a Pittsburgh Steelers defense that can be got via the run.
What makes you say that? The fact that Eckler had 4 touchdowns last week?
I'm just saying, he did well for me in my fantasy team, but
Mhm.
they've given up 5.3 yards per carry in 4 of their last 5. They can get gashed on the ground. I think Cincinnati with Joe Mixon is going to try to take some of the pressure off of Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals there as well. Stay tuned to see who plays, who doesn't play, because if those 3 guys all play, you can make it this 2.5, may cut through 4 and 3.
Yeah, that's why I said it's tough to assume if they're going to play or not. For the sake of this, we'll assume they're not going to play.
Right.
So give me Cincinnati in the over.
I think it'll be a combination. I think 1 or 2 of the 3 will play. I doubt if all 3 of them play.
Okay.
You got the over there as well.
Yeah.
I think Ben's going to have to throw the ball to catch up. I agree. Coming down to it, buddy. Bronco Devil left us. You guys are roasting Cam. Kind of. We're just roasting his skill.
I've roasted him for years. So in my defense, I'm consistent.
Good guy, good dresser.
Well, good dresser is debatable, but he seems like a chill guy.
Oh, I don't think that's debatable. He's a fantastic dresser. What are you talking about?
One of the most unique wardrobes. He's the Russell Westbrook wardrobe-wise of the NFL.
I guarantee you he's got shirts that cost more than our fucking wardrobes put together.
I'm sure he does, but I treat modern fashion like modern art. I don't get it.
Okay, fair enough. Chargers -2.5 over the Broncos.
By the way, who do you think has the better or worse wardrobe? Russell Westbrook or Kyle Kuzma? I think he got an argument either way.
Yeah, you could really make a case either way. I think Kuzma probably the worst wardrobe.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. 3 NFL overs. She loves overs. All right, what do we got? We have a consensus over on the Bengals. We have a consensus.
Well, we can't even say that's consensus because we don't know who's playing. We're gambling on the injury report.
All right, so let's go with consensus over on the Titans and Patriots, consensus over on the Texans and Jets.
Well, I like the under in the Patriots game, so that's a no-go for me.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I thought it was a consensus. It's not. You're right.
We got the over in the Jets-Houston game.
Yep. Yeah, Texans.
That we have.
Yep.
We have the.
That's it.
Is it
the over in the Steelers, but it's contingent. Right?
Did you have the over in the Indy game, or you had the under?
I've got the under in the Indy game.
Damn it. Okay, yeah. So right now we got 1.
Yeah, sorry.
Unless you include the Thursday games, but
yeah, if you do include the Thursday games, we got the over in none of them.
We didn't have the over.
You had it in the Saints. I had 3 unders.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Well, sorry, Erica. Well, let's see if we can get to it here. Chargers, Broncos.
Give me the Chargers.
It's just hard to like this Denver team. You know, and the sad part is the defense is played good enough to make them a contender, Scott. But as we suspected, the offense has been letting them down, and they've been awful. They showed up against Dallas, and every season you're going to have one of those inexplicable games. A couple seasons ago, when the Chiefs won 2 games, one of them was against the Packers, who came to town 13-0.
And if you think that Scott's wrong about that, the Jets have had 2 of those games this season. They beat the Titans and the Bengals. It doesn't mean they're a good football team.
Nope, doesn't at all. So as far as this one goes,
and the Chargers are good. They're not great, but I think they're better than Denver.
Chargers have failed to cover 4 of their last 5,
but the spread's low, and Denver's bad.
And they are better on the road. I think they may be a little undervalued on the road. If there's any place I'm going to play the Chargers, it's going to be the road. I played them last week and they fucked me. I'm not happy. But all right, I'll take the Chargers. You got the Chargers too?
Yeah.
As far as the total goes, I think the Chargers are going to run the football. This is a Denver defense. Like I said, for all their problems, they've given up just 24. They've given up 73 points over their last 4 games. That's going to be 18.25 points a game. So the defense has been playing well enough, and they played some decent offenses. They played Cleveland, they played Dallas, they played Philly, who can put up some points. And the Chargers defense is, I'm going to take the over there, buddy.
I think it really depends if Asante Samuel Jr. plays or not. And it seems like as of right now, I'm going to assume he's not going to play. So I'm going to lean to the over, but I like the Chargers.
Okay, yeah, I'm a bigger fan of the Chargers than I am the over, but we do have a consensus over there. 49ers -3 as the Vikings come to town. This is one of the more curious lines to me, as I think the 49ers, they are generating some exuberance based on their recent performances. Is it deserved, Scott? Are they back? I mean, are they going to be hell? They've got the same record as the Vikings. They're both 5-5. It's going to be a dogfight there for the wild card spots in the NFL. And
I mean, they have to be back, right? To beat the Jaguars by 20 points.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. What are we looking at here? We're looking at levels of competition. Now, I think they're probably getting more credit for that game against the Rams, where they just
they are. I was being facetious about the Jaguars game.
But, the Rams, we saw that game. Stafford threw 2 interceptions, one a pick 6, one a pick to the 5-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's the point. The point is, can the defense frustrate Kirk Cousins? I think the answer is yes. So I'm going to go with San Francisco.
Taking the Niners there, huh?
I'm going to. I feel like this is a game where most people will just jump on Minnesota's bandwagon because they beat Aaron Rodgers. They won a game there. I still don't like Zimmer. Am I a big Shanahan guy? Really, no. But I do think this Niner team is better ever since Kittle returned. Samuel's nuts. Ayuk's been doing well lately. The defense has been pretty good for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to hold my nose and take the Niners. Maybe I'm just still traumatized by Cousins' playoff performance against the Niners a couple years ago. So give me San Fran, but I'll take the under.
All right, very good. You're welcome, David. We love what we do. We have a good time doing it. Lawrence Anthony says fool's gold are the 49ers.
You might be right about that, but the line I do think is a bit telling.
They're out there in the stream mining for iron pyrite.
You don't think the line looks a bit telling here?
I think it's a mistake by the odds makers, Scott. They've totally blown this one.
Yeah. Take the Vikings. Do it.
I am taking the Vikings. I am taking the fucking 49ers. Fuck them. No, I'm not buying it. Sorry.
Okay.
What do you got for a total?
I'm going under. It might be correlated because you might think Minnesota's going to score a lot, but I don't trust Minnesota's defense. I actually do like the Niners defense.
All right, good enough. I'm going the other way. I'm taking the over, buddy. I got over 48 in the Vikings. There you go. There's some fades. All right, my friend. Coming down to it is Rams head to the frozen tundra. Take on the Packers. It's a pick 'em. 48 is the number.
Rodgers has what, 1.5 legs for this game because his foot's apparently a mess.
Got COVID toe.
Yeah, which resulted in 4 touchdowns and 380 passing yards and him looking completely fine.
Terrible.
I think Rodgers is just so accustomed to being injured that he looks great whenever he is injured because that's what he's done his entire career. This is what I think might be the fool's gold line of the day because I don't know how Green Bay's only -1. I get they lost to Minnesota in a game that was around a 1-point spread. They're returning to Lambeau, facing off against an LA team that's traveling to cold weather that has looked awful the last couple of weeks. Does this one make any sense to you?
Well, I think it makes sense from the respect that people think Green Bay is pretty good. I mean, people think the Rams are pretty good, Scott.
I know, but I'm just saying they've looked awful the last couple of weeks. I feel like Green Bay should walk into being 3-point favorites here.
Yeah, I mean, so you're saying these teams are basically even, and you're getting the 3 points for the home field advantage. I don't disagree with that assessment. And the surprising part is the way this Green Bay defense is played. They've actually given up more points per game, or fewer points per game than the Rams have. They've given up 3 points per game less than LA. So
I'm taking Green Bay on principle. I will always fade the West Coast team traveling to play in cold weather. That's usually not a good spot for West Coast teams.
Yep.
I'm just going to fade Stafford because I think that he's been a mess the last couple of weeks. Give me Green Bay.
Yeah, it's hard to like anything about this Rams team right now that lost.
Odell curse.
Well, it's two teams that were, inferior on paper to them in the 49ers and the Titans, especially without Derrick Henry. So I'll go with you. I'm taking the Packers there as far as the total goes.
I'm going under.
I think you have to. 4 of the last 5 if you hit under for Green Bay. Like I said, this defense has played surprisingly well. I think the bloom may be off Stafford a little bit. I've got the under there. And we're going to finish it up, buddy, with a battle from the AFC North. Where are we at? 2 hours and 40 minutes. All right.
Yep.
Ravens -4. 46 is the numero there, my friend.
Kareem Hunt's supposed to be back.
That gives them a pretty good two-headed monster there with Chubb and Hunt in the backfield. Does it make enough of a difference? What the hell do we have with this Baltimore team, buddy?
We have a team that has Lamar Jackson back. So I'll take Baltimore because Cleveland is a team that won last week, technically. They would have lost to any other team besides Detroit. And Baker's looked like a mess. Baltimore owns this team every single year. Give me the Ravens. I think they'll take care of business here. But I just can't back Cleveland because this team, especially with the way Baker's been playing lately, is a mess.
Thanks, guys. Thanks to Timothy. Thanks to Thomas. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I want to like this Cleveland team, and like you said, getting Hunt back, that's a good thing. But Baker, ever since he sat out with the injury, Scott, he doesn't look the same, even though it's on his non-throwing shoulder.
I said when he came back that Keenum might be the better option because of the injuries that Mayfield has. I still think I'm right.
Yeah, this is a team that's put up less than 17 points in 4 of their last 5. Given up. As far as the defense goes, the defense is still getting the job done. Of course, they shit the bed against New England, but other than that, they've played pretty well. I think they hold
against who though? Tim Boyle?
No, yeah, I mean, well, they give up 10 to Detroit. They give up 16 to Cincinnati. I think that's an impressive performance. They give up 15 to Pittsburgh. That's not fantastic.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's been putting some points on the board, so there is a couple of clunkers there with Denver and Detroit, but
I'm going Baltimore and under.
Baltimore and under.
I can't take an over with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. I can't.
I'm just going to take from the way Baker's playing right now and the historical perspective as far as the Ravens and Browns history goes, and then the home game. I'll take the Ravens as well. I've got to play the under.
Yeah.
The under.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, my friend. There you have it. So that leaves us time for just one thing, and let's get to it, Scott.
Get ready for our 5,000-star whale play. Fade the Public Sharks 1 million unit lock of the century.
That fingered the hell out of all those buttons. All right, here we go. Losers walk.
Yeah, losers walk. You're up first.
That's me. All right. Well, I'd like to take this play first before you can get to it. I'm going to play the Texans minus the 2.5 over the Jets. We talked about this a lot, but just a couple of things to reiterate.
You stole my move.
You're
fading the Jets. You stole my move.
Stopping short.
Yeah.
New York defense has been horrible last 5 games. They've given up 199 points over the last 5 games. That's in the NFL. They're a professional fucking football team, Scott. That is unheard of. You don't give up 40 points a game. I don't care how long the stretch is. The Texans, sure, they're the Texans. They suck. But there's different levels of suck. There's Texans suck, and then there's Jets suck. I think the Texans suck just a little bit less. They have a competent, average quarterback in the saddle. Texans minus the 2.5. Nice price over this terrible Jets team. Give me the Texans at home.
So I'm going to be looking at New York football, but since you took the Jets, or you faded the Jets, I'm going to look at the other New York team, technically from New Jersey, looking at the Giants. And I'm taking the Eagles, minus 3 at around minus 125 offshore. A couple reasons why I like the Eagles in the spot. First of all, Philadelphia is just playing a lot better over the last couple of weeks. The Eagles have won each of their last 2 games by at least 11 points. The defense with Slay has been really good, and the offense with Hurts is starting to click once they really embrace the ground game. And I do think that'll play a huge factor in this game. The Giants have lost 4 of their last 6 games by at least 3 points, and the Giants just fired the offensive coordinator. Freddie Kitchens taking over the play calling duties. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones is still the quarterback, so I don't think that's going to matter. Give me the much hotter team playing much better football, and I think the Eagles right now are still being slept on. Give me the Eagles -3.
Yep. They're also a fantastic road team. Up until last week, they had all their victories on the road, so they are no stranger to playing on the highway. Just a short trip over there to the Meadowlands. I think that's a good play as well. So
Fade New York.
Fade New York. That's our weekend, guys. Now we're roasting Baker. Yes, we're roasting Baker as well. Happy Thanksgiving. Jones got to go. Got to plug your phone in for some power. You guys used it all up. Yep, the past 3 hours have been fun. Thanks, Joan. Appreciate it. Have a great Turkey Day. Good luck on your plays this weekend. Scott, fuck, dude, we're done. I got Texans -2.5. You got Philly -3.5. There's your wrap up.
I got Philly -3.
Or you got 3? You find it 3?
Yeah, I got 3 at -125.
Okay. Pay that juice, buddy. All right,
it's
good
a key
enough.
number. I'll lay the juice.
Oh, is it? Is it a key number? Okay. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Again, we will not be here on Thursday and Friday. Don't forget us. We'll be back next Monday doing the show. You guys are the best. I've had a blast, man. We had like 60 people hang with us all the way through. That's fucking excellent. What about today's Bet the Farm?
We did that 2 hours ago.
It seems like yesterday we did that. By the way, here's your clue. Here's your clue right here. K-State, we're taking them +3 over Texas. So there you go. So that's what you get for tuning in at the end of the show for Bet the Farm, fucker. You got to be earlier than that, especially on the day we go 3 hours. We're out of here. I got to get shit in the oven. I got stuff to eat. You guys have been fantastic. Appreciate it. Love you all. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday. Scott, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Hope you guys have a blast. Everybody have fun. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Monday as Scott and Scott once again head back to the window. Peace.